Okay, we're live.
Hi.
Hi. Let's say hi to some people in the chat. Jerry from Carpenter Self-Reliance, Freddie from Farm and HVAC,
Hi.
and Wifey is here, married to TulsaFox. I have a Green Country Agroforestry pinned in the top of the chat, but I also have Mary is TulsaFox, a link in there close to the top there. I figured I'd put that so people could go. I also put it in the description box. I put your wife in there. She needs to hit 100, so they'll start sharing her.
Very close to getting 100. She's very
she's real close.
Very, very close.
She's very close. Remind me to mention that later on in the live when we get some more people in here.
Look at this. I have additional lighting in the studio.
We'll chat for a few minutes until we get a few people in.
There we go.
We'll chat for a few minutes until we get a few more people in here.
All right. Well, I'll chat about Mary for a moment.
Sure.
Always advertise your wife, right? So Mary is an over-the-road truck driver. She hauls freight across the United States, usually from north to south. So from up there in cheese country to down around the Gulf and back and forth. Occasionally she heads out towards Florida and deals with the gators, but most of the time it's that north-south corridor stuff that she's doing. So remember to give her your thanks if you actually went to the store and bought anything, because that's how it got there.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome.
Occasionally she does video about what goes on the road. Like she released a bunch of recent stuff about an axle fire that she had on her trailer. That was kind of exciting. But a lot of times she also just follows me around and is shooting behind the scenes, me without a hat on.
Yeah.
Things that I might not edit and put up, but there's behind the scenes footage.
Yeah, you get the unedited version of Jason Avers there. See.
Yeah.
Iowa to Texas most of the time. Yeah.
I could get away with occasionally playing copyrighted material on the guitar, and nobody will.
Yeah. I had somebody on the other day, and they played some music, and I was thinking to myself, they were playing really.
Now that I'm monetized, hang on a second.
Really old country. I think it was fine because it was old country, so I think it was fine.
Sometimes, yeah.
You know what? It was a pop-up chat, and I didn't even have the monetization button turned on. But that was one of the pieces of advice I got from that Robert Benjamin guy was a little bit more lives, maybe. You know,
lives
because I was just doing the 1 week. How many people does it show in the chat to you? It shows me 0.
I don't know. Let me see. I'm not looking on the ScreenYard.
And I'm sitting here going.
If I look over here, I'd have to refresh it. Hang on. I'm gonna refresh it. It
said 5, and then it said 2, and now it says 1.
Right now it says 1 watching.
Yeah.
Started 3 minutes ago. 1 watching.
I know.
What?
Let me try sharing. Let me try sharing it again real quick.
But my screen's refreshing, and it's just oh, there it goes. I don't know. I'm seeing Ann Dale Homestead in chat.
Oh, hi, Ann Dale.
Yeah, and I know Mary was in chat just a minute ago. So anyway,
I'm gonna share it out again.
All right,
real quick. Did you share it too, Jason?
I'll just sit here and amuse myself for a moment.
Okay.
I can put it out on Facebook again here. It's not the only thing I ever use Facebook for, really.
Yeah, I use it just to share. I use it to share.
Hey, we're doing a live stream where I posted a video. And this is going to look funny. I can type like this. Right now.
And Dale, if you have time, can you share out the live for me real quick?
There we go.
It's kind of a last minute thing, so not a lot of people know. And this is not my normal day to go live, but this is when it was. This
is when it was available, huh?
This is when he was available, and Jason
Avers
is
the days. This is one of the days that I was available.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is Jason Avers the big time now, So if he wants to pay attention to the little people, we're just going to like, okay, sure, let's do whenever you say, I'm just joking. But yeah, you are a big channel now. You deserve props for that.
I'm just an oversized garden gnome. That's all I am.
Oversized garden gnome.
Oversized garden gnome. I was out planting flowers today. Yeah. Do you want to hear me do a funny voice? I can do a funny voice. That'll make things entertaining for you. Do you want to see me stand on my head? I could swallow eggs whole. Would that help? That'll get the views up, right? No.
Right.
I don't know.
People be watching the replay, so whatever you do, even before we start talking, they're gonna go see it. So
I was out planting flowers today. Do you see these things behind me?
Yes.
Okay, this is the picture of what they're supposed to look like. Whenever they grow up, we'll see. I don't know. We'll find out. That's what they're
trying to see if I could recognize any of them. Those two on the bottom are the same. The same kind of breed of something, but different colors, right?
These two, right there, down there. Yeah. Those are both the same genus. I believe they're the same species too. But
Thank you, Ann.
Just little variations, right?
I'm going to plant actually a lot more flowers in my garden this year too. I had a few flowers I was going to plant, but then I did that IBG 2003 seed swap with Indiana Backyard Gardener, and she sent me 32 varieties of seed, and 12 of them were flowers. Wow. So I'm going to try all of them. I'm going to put. I have lots of pots. I'm just going to keep loading the pots up. I'm just going to put them there. Well, hey, if nothing else, pollination and beauty. It'll look pretty out there.
Okay. So I've got a naughty little secret.
Okay.
These flowers that are behind me, and I planted these today, and I did video where I planted these today. You know how whenever you don't have a lot of space, you kind of have that struggle between the side of you that wants to grow something that's good, productive, that's food. You want to grow food, but you also want to see something pretty.
Yeah.
These do both because they're all edible. These are edible flowers.
Oh, cool.
One, these are edible. And two, not only are they edible flowers, but they're edible flowers with edible tubers. So you have a plant that has an edible flower that you can eat during the spring, late spring, summer, and a tuber that you can dig up and eat whenever you're hungry. And,
what's the tuber? Is that the root? Okay, I'm a DE gardener, so I have to ask questions.
Yeah, that's the root. The ones on the bottom are daylily. They're Hemerocallis fulva, just a particular variety that makes a different color of flower than the plain orange one. That's the classic one. Usually the plain orange ones, and there's a red variety also, sends up very, very long flower stalks and produces a bunch of blooms on tall stalks. The more colorful, smaller, different sports are shorter than the classic ones, but they're also Hemerocallis. The flowers are also edible. The tubers are also edible. The young plants, whenever the shoots just come up, whenever they're about as tall as my hand is wide here, so from there to there, 4 or 5 inches or so. Those you saute them in butter and salt and pepper, and they're good.
What do flowers taste like?
The flowers of the daylily tastes like butter crunch lettuce, but sweet, slightly sweet.
That's cool.
Imagine the tastiest lettuce you've ever had, and then making it slightly sweet in addition to that. So this you can't get the flowers in the supermarket because they only last for a day. This is the reason why people aren't eating them on their salad all the time. You only get the stuff in the supermarket that they can produce and ship to you in mass. And this is like gourmet stuff. You have to grow it yourself, otherwise you don't have it. But as you can tell, there's variation in color here. So if you really want to mix things up in your salad bowl, you can have a whole bunch of different vibrant color in addition to, of course, your nice spring onions and your other vegetables that you're going to throw in there. So this is a great way to bring some color into your salad. It's all edible flowers. I haven't tasted dahlia flowers yet, but we'll be tasting those this year and see how they turn out.
Do you have any flowers coming up yet?
Not yet. The only flowers I have coming up right now are daffodils, and those aren't edible.
I have volunteer zinnias, volunteer sunflowers. I planted marigolds in a pot. They're already coming up, and my bachelor buttons are already coming up.
You live a lot further south than we do, though.
Yeah, and possibly lavender. I know I probably shouldn't have planted it.
I've got some planted. I don't know if it's going to come back or not, but we'll see.
There's something popping up. I don't know if it's the lavender or some kind of weed that's in there, but I got that ground ready, so we'll see.
Okay. So I've told you about these two on the bottom. These three on the top are all the same genus.
Oh, they are.
They're a different genus from the ones on the bottom. The ones on the bottom, of course, are the daylilies, the hemerocallis. The ones on the top are all dahlias.
I like the burgundy one that's right above your head.
Isn't that pretty?
That's really pretty.
Yeah, that one's called Mingus Alex.
Ooh, I like that.
The name of that particular one. Yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah, I love that dark, deep color.
Maybe
that's
about that big around.
Whoa, that's a big flower.
When they're full size, and that one should get to be anywhere from like around 4 foot tall.
Oh,
so
cool.
it'll get tall and make that nice big flower. And then let's see this one right here. Hey, I got my pointer finger out right. This was I actually pointed the right one. This one's called a Blue Eyes, also about an 8-inch flower, but only about 40 inches tall, so a little bit shorter. And then over here is White Perfection was the name of this one, and they're all dahlias.
Cool.
They're all dahlias. The tubers are sometimes as small as my thumb. They can be that small. Usually they're about yay big around, maybe $half size around, and about 4, 5, 6 inches long, give or take. They have a tendency to get big, sprawling out, and there's a lot of them. And like a potato, dahlias will form sprouts from the tuber and grow a new plant. And
that's neat.
Daylilies won't. They'll send off little runners and rhizomes that a new plant will form off of. But you can sprout the dahlia tubers and get.
I bet there's a lot of flowers that are edible, and I don't even know it. Like, are marigolds edible?
I believe so. Yeah.
And zinnias.
Zinnias are definitely edible.
Yeah. Hi, Ariella.
Christians are edible, but I don't really like the way they taste. They're.
Yeah. I've never tasted a flower, but I need to broaden my horizons. I need to make a video of that. My first time trying a flower. But I need a good one, something like what you got here that tastes like lettuce. That would be better. Yeah, also, if I get any peppers in my garden,
good old classic orange daylily is perfect.
Yeah. I'll go by the Tractor Supply or Walmart and see if they have anything in that.
This time of year they'll have daylilies out.
Yeah. If they're common seeds, I'll probably be able to find some.
They'll sell the entire plant, tubers and all.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
easiest actually to propagate them that way. They do make the flowers do make a seed, and you can plant the seed and get a plant started from the seed, but they spread from those rhizomes and runners just so steadily or so readily that there's really no need to try to grow them from seed.
Unless of
course you're trying to come up with like something like that or something like that that's genetically different from everything else that everybody else has got.
Yeah,
you'd want to do it, but it's a complicated process. I have yet to succeed at getting a daylily to grow from the seed intentionally. So
Adrian was teasing me because
gardener than me, that's for sure.
Last year I took pumpkins and gourds.
Chat.
Last year, Adrian was teasing me because I just let pumpkins and gourds die in a little wild garden section in the back there, and it's kind of round, and then I can let the vines grow out. Well, she said, you're going to end up with your own species of gourds out there. I said, I don't know. We'll see. I barely even cover them, and then they just pop up on their own just from dying there in their own stuff.
So they reseed themselves.
They reseed themselves.
The ones that you don't harvest wind up reseeding themselves for next. That's kind of convenient.
So I plan to harvest some seed.
You figured out a way that you can grow an annual crop that will effectively become a perennial just by you not harvesting all of it. It'll plant itself for you, and
so Mom and I like to have pretty stuff on the porch at fall. So I take all of it and just let it die there, and I kind of spread it out in that section. And then last year, one of them come up like late. It wasn't in time for it was barely in time to have it out. It came up late, but it was beautiful. And I got about 12 green bumpy gourds off of it. I never did find out if they were edible, but as soon as I finished with the porch, I just spread them out back there in the garden. So they'll just make some more. So I won't have to buy any this year. I'll just put whatever I get. And
find out if they're edible or not.
What's that?
It's an easy way to find out if they're edible or not. Cook them up, eat them. If you die, they weren't edible. That's horrible advice. Don't do that. Oh, shoot. All right. So Mary's with us. I'm trying to follow in the chat there. Sometimes Google photos something is. Yeah, sometimes. Mary's been known to snap a picture of something and run it through Google.
Sorry, my internet went down for a little while, so I heard you talking, so I was like, well, you'll just keep talking. It's fine. It's all good. If anybody has any questions out there,
keep on running. Eventually, you'll catch up.
Yeah, it'll be fine. What kinds of things are you planning to grow in your garden this year?
Okay. All right. Oh, so this is the big one. Oh, you know what? I should have grabbed one before I came and sat down. I've got a big old tray full of Brandywine tomatoes growing back there. I've made the discovery late in life, after spending way too much on other stuff, that a basic 10-20 tray and solo cups and some peat moss and maybe a little bit of perlite. It's about all you really need to start plants. You just take your solo cups, and once again, if I had a stack of them here, that would be convenient. I didn't think ahead, so here I am.
Hey,
so I'm going to. We are going to engage in the ancient art of pantomime.
Hey, you go get yours and I'll go get mine. Hold on one sec. Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing because I've been sitting here pantomiming, pulling a stack of solo cups out of the sleeve and putting them on the table, pretending to pull one out of it and sip out of it and put it back. Just silly stuff.
These are mine.
All right, so those are tomatoes. Right? And they're in those little tiny microcells, and you can probably squeeze the bottom of them and get them to come loose with the roots and everything. All right, but eventually you're going to have to up pot those, right? Are you going to up pot them, or are you going to plant them out directly? Both?
Up pot? Not me. Not in this zone. In this zone, I can put these straight in the ground.
Yeah, you're getting some straight out. All right, so up here, if we've got them started about 6-8 weeks before last frost, we would probably have had to have up potted them by this time. And so I've discovered that I have to take a solo cup and I punch holes in it. And the way I do that is just to take the entire stack, invert them so the bottoms are up, and just get a piece of metal, like a piece of a coat hanger, heat it up, and punch it all the way through the entire stack.
I missed whatever you said about that.
Okay.
I missed it. My internet went out again.
All right. Sing a song for the good people for a moment. I'm going to go grab a couple of props. I'll be right back. I should have got this stuff ahead of time. But I'll show you.
No, that's fine.
I'll show you what I'm talking
about.
And
these are my marigolds. Poor Gail's freezing. I know. And then I got a few marigolds started because I wanted to be able to put these into my zucchini bed. I have 3 of them here. And I have one little tiny one that's just barely there. But anyway, I also have some in a pot. I mean, it's so warm here that my tomatoes can literally go from that little thing straight into the ground. I mean, my last frost date is like April 1st. So I'm going to be putting those in the ground around April 1st. So, yeah. I was showing them my marigolds I started under the grow light.
Yay.
I sent you know how the vineyard chick sent me, a grow light 2 years ago? Remember that?
Right.
So I decided that I was going to pay it forward, and I just sent a grow light to somebody who needed one. So there you go.
Check that out. I made the tomato plant visible. Otherwise, it disappears. But here it is now. I have green right behind where I'm sitting, so whenever it's here, you can actually see the leaves. Anyway, so we have a tomato plant, which you can't see unless it's sitting right here in front of me. Now you can kind of see it.
Yeah,
and we started out with solo clutch. But you notice we have holes in the bottom of the pot. Or the cup. I've got holes in the bottom.
Yeah.
The way I got the holes there is pretty simple. I just took the stack of cups like that, turned it upside down. A piece of coat hanger is what I got here. And heat that up. And once it's heated up, all the way down through the bottom, pull it back up, heat it up. Make sure you have ventilation so you aren't breathing the plastic fumes. Straight through. 4 holes should be sufficient.
That's cool.
And you did the entire stack all at once. You get 16 cups for $1.25 from the $1.25 store. Yeah. Used to be the dollar store. But that is a big enough container for you to start something like that tomato plant in 6 to 8 weeks before it's time to take it out. And you won't have to up pot it. And since the pot was that
you were teasing me about up potting my tomatoes, but what I was telling you is my last frost date's like April 1st. I mean, I could just put mine in the ground.
Yeah, just about. Yep.
So I'm kind of brave like that. I mean, I have lots of seed. I'll put it out there. If it freezes, I'll just grow some more. I have more things under the grow light, but they haven't come up yet. They're new. So
Texas, you don't have winter, you have winter.
Yeah, a little winter. It's a little winter. That's right. Hello, Maple Club. How are you? Welcome in.
Oh, it's finding what she says. It's hard to find decent gardening supplies by the time he gets around to getting out and getting there. Always so well. That's not entirely true. I could have gone out to actually the same place, the $1.25 store, and got those pots that I got that one year. I still have some of them. They're really, really flimsy. As a matter of fact, the solo cup is a bit sturdier.
I think something came in this one, and I just reused it.
6 of those little 4-inch plastic pots for $1.25. I get what, 16? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's 8 now. I don't know. Of the solo cup. In any case, it's a lot more solo cups at the end of the day. So they last longer than those flimsy little plastic pots ever did, and they're super cheap. So
yeah, I have some elderberry. I think I have a pumpkin seed. I wanted to see if it was still good, and I had a tomatillo seed. I wanted to see if that was still good, and I have a couple of Santa Fe peppers up in there, but they're not up yet. But I'm going to leave, even after my last frost day, I'm going to leave peppers under there because I have such a hard time growing them. I thought if I could just get them up a little bit, maybe they'll keep going.
Who knows? I have a hard time with peppers. I really do. Yeah. I don't have a hard time with okay, so I don't have a hard time with cayenne peppers. I don't have a hard time with Hungarian wax peppers. Those, I've grown them. They grew well for me. or they just really like it here. Probably they just like it here. I'm pretty sure I have absolutely nothing to do with it. I put the seed in the ground and go, it seems to want to grow, or I don't know what's wrong. That's very much right. And you do this enough times, maybe you figure out something. Usually it's like, I don't know what the heck I just did, but these wanted to grow, these didn't, so I guess we grow these ones. And sometimes it's like you just find the stuff that wants to grow where you're at.
Well, like Aunt Dale was talking about, marigolds don't grow for her, but in Texas and I bet Oklahoma too, they just grow like crazy. Like I have these under the grow light, but you know what? I planted some seeds in a pot outside, and it's warm enough here. They're already coming up in 3 pots already outside. Those I'm going to put with my zucchini though. I'm just going to up.
Oh, sorry. Oh no, Gail froze again. Mary's saying, don't bell peppers need 2 years? They don't need 2 years, but they do need a good long growing season. And sometimes we don't have enough time for them to get to be big sized here. Sometimes.
Your wife asked if bell peppers take 2 years.
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's not that they take 2 years, but the best success I've had growing bell peppers was one year I took the plant and brought it in whenever fall came around and kept it alive through the winter. And then the spring came around, I took the same plant outside, and this was a bell pepper plant. And this is the only time I got decent sized bell peppers out of it, was letting it overwinter and then setting it back out. Then it made decent sized peppers for me. But no, they're not supposed to. They just take a really long time to
Hello, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Actually, the year my husband did the Shed Wars, he actually had some little bell peppers come up, so he had a little bit better success on that than I did. Bell peppers is still one of the things I have to conquer. I've not conquered peppers. I used to do really well with jalapeno, but not so much lately. So I don't know. But last year, I have a lot of peppers I'm going to plant. So we're going to see if I can even just get any. And even if I get a hot one, I'm going to try it on a video just to make everybody laugh, because it's going to be really funny. Tomatillos. I know. Tomatillo. Yeah, I know.
No, I can't do that.
A lot of people, when they say they don't say tomatillo, they say it like an A, not like an O. I think that I know.
Tomatillos.
Tomatillos.
Toma.
Tomatillos. Toma. Yeah. I like those though. I got purple ones.
You got to say it right, because Mexico may come back and try to take back what's theirs.
I'm going to grow the purple variety this year.
Oh yeah, really?
I got some from the seed swap.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to try to grow them in 5-gallon buckets and see if that works.
I got some little husk cherries, which are kind of related, but they're more like what you'd find out there in the Carolinas.
There's a lot of plants that'll grow in planters. Are you talking about like buckets or pots? Do you want to grow flowers or do you want to grow vegetables? Because most flowers will grow in a pot. Vegetables, most of them you need at least a 5-gallon bucket, don't you think, Jason?
Yeah. Or a gallon, depending upon what it is. I mean, you can grow lettuce in a.
I've grown lettuce.
Maybe not. I'm pointing the wrong way. Maybe not his tray, but like a kitty litter tray. You can stop by the dollar store and get one of those little dish tubs. Punch a couple holes in the bottom and go. Oh, there we go. Put a little bit of potting soil in there. Sprinkle your seeds in. There you go.
Yeah, I've grown lettuce in a pot before. I had some in the planter and some in the pot, and the ones in the pot.
Poke a few holes in it so it has a little bit of ventilation. Set it in a sunny spot. You're good to go.
Yeah, lettuce is really easy growing in a pot. That's definitely. And if you're going to do tomato, you'd have to do more of a cherry variety, probably, unless you're going to go.
Yeah, or you can always get the usual hack is bag of potting soil, clear tote. Take the bag of potting soil, you put it on the lid. Take the tote, turn it upside down so the lid is facing out. Put the bag of potting soil on the lid. And then you cut open a square in the bag of potting soil, and then you put your seeds on it, and you put a little bit of moisture on it, and then put the top down, and there you go. You're done. But, you paid for a big old clear tote. You can actually just use a clear plastic trash bag. It'll work just fine.
I grew kale on the front porch in just a Miracle Grow potting bag.
Yep.
Just cut it into a picture frame, plant your seed right into it, but make sure you have holes on the bottom of your Miracle Grow bag so it can, but I've done that. I do that in the winter, and then I just harvest it all winter. If it's going to get really cold, I put a clear plastic something over it.
Right. You leave that outside where you're at.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. People further north might want to like put it in a window or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But you don't really need a lot of complicated equipment to grow some green stuff in the winter. If you've got a window that faces where the sun's coming from, and you can keep it reasonably warm in your house, above 50 at least, then you can grow some salad greens in the middle of the winter, just right there, wherever.
So, my friend that I'm going to buy I'm buying the grow light for, but she doesn't know it yet. It's a surprise. She was trying to grow some seedlings under her oven light. And I said, I don't think that's going to work.
Really?
So
if your oven light is throwing the right frequency of light, maybe.
And you know what? The funny part is they did come up, but one of the seedlings came up, but then kind of like fell over. So I thought, well, if I send her that, maybe she can. I'm all excited to watch her open it. I want to see her expression. I was like, please make a video.
Light, but it wasn't getting enough light.
Yeah, exactly. So I figured maybe she could find somewhere to set that up. So she used to do gardening outside, but she's had an injury. So hopefully she'll be able to do a little gardening now. So anyway.
Unfortunately,
I'm all excited about it to see her open it.
Lighting is also motion sensitive, so if I don't keep on moving around like I've got, like I've got Parkinson's, it'll start doing that turn off and thing on me. Anyway.
Okay, let's see what my next question is.
All right.
Do you have a compost bin, or do you use the compost in place method?
I do an awful lot of composting in place, and I've got a technique that I put together for doing it that's a little different. I think I may have talked with you about it before too.
Yeah,
it's where I once I've got an area that I've gardened in for a while, I know where I want things to be planted. You probably aren't going to know this the first year you go and do your garden, or the second, or even the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. After a few years, you figure out where it is you want your tomatoes. You figure it is where it is you're going to put your corn. You kind of know where everything's going to be. After a few years, you kind of get used to this. Okay, now you know where your walkways are going to be. This is what we're kind of getting around to. You know where your walkways are going to be. Once you know where your walkways are going to be, grab your shovel and start digging. And dig out all the topsoil that's in your walkway. All of the topsoil that's in your walkway. Every last bit of it. And take it and turn it over into the garden planting areas beside the walkway where you're going to be planting all the stuff, whether that's flowers or trees or vegetables or all of the above. And I like all of the above. I plant everything in there. Flowers and trees and vegetables all at the same time. Because a young tree is perfect for a brandywine tomato.
Yeah,
it's trellis, and it's a vine, and it fills that space in the entire layers of a forest system. So we've got a canopy tree, a pecan over here, and then I've got underneath that we've got maybe a pear that's somewhere on the edge of the shade umbrella of that pecan, and then underneath that we've got some bushes, and then so on and so forth. All the way through that, vines can be growing. So I've got a vine, it takes up a bit of space. I've got ground cover, it takes up a certain space. I try to plant at least 2 or 3 layers on top of each other in any given space, but leave enough openness so that all the light can get in to hit everything that's trying to grow there. But usually at least 3 layers at a time, if I can help it.
That sounds like
if I can get something that I can harvest out of those 3 layers, it's even better. Though a lot of the times that part of those layers are just things like, I'm going to plant some clover, so I have something making nitrogen in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to go buy fertilizer. The the ground cover that I've planted is a perennial. Whenever it dies back, it's spent all that time gathering and pulling in nitrogen from the air and creating it in a physical form that it and other plants can use.
I got a question.
Yes.
Okay. So I've noticed, like at the end of the year, last year, I put leaves on top of my garden because we had a really bad hailstorm and daughter raked them all up and I put them on top. Well, I noticed that those leaves did not break down all the way, but they broke down part of the way. So did some of that nitrogen get down into the soil from it getting wet all the way from September to now? Did some of that go into the garden?
So some of the composted leaf material? Yeah. Nitrogen. Well, the thing is, nitrogen is soluble. So ideally, you would like to have your organic matter that's on top in the process of breaking down at all times. Have something that's in the process of breaking down. That way, anytime water comes through it, the soluble nitrogen is passed down into the root zone.
So people kept telling me.
So instead of putting a bunch of nitrogen fertilizer on all at once, it gets wet, it soaks through, it's gone. The roots got a little bit of it, but the rest of it was wasted.
So people kept telling me I was crazy, Jason, because I put the leaves on top and then I would leave it there, put a layer of topsoil or some kind of soil on top of it and just keep going. Right. They kept telling, and I was thinking to myself, doesn't that stuff break down into it? And they kept treating me like I was crazy. And I was like, no, I know it's going down in there. So there you go.
As it decomposes, it will begin releasing nutrients back into the soil.
Yeah.
And since you've got it on the top, your roots aren't up there in your mulch, in that litter on the surface, trying to get nutrients. They're not up there. They're down in the soil. Mm-hmm. So it's not taking anything away from your plant growing down here. All it's doing is decomposing up here. And then whenever the water washes through, if there are soluble nutrients that the roots can pick up, those are going to descend into that root zone where your roots can get. So
that's what I thought.
Composting in place is great as long as you can keep things from going and digging into it and tearing it up.
Yeah. I'm having a little trouble with the cats, the backyard cats.
You turn your compost in place, then that's one thing.
Yeah, the backyard cats. I started watching Blackberry Rock Homestead, and she's got the forks in her greenhouse, in her pots. I started doing that as I'm planting. I get the forks and turn them upside down to where they don't feel like they can just lay there. So anyway, we're still fighting that battle. Once they get up a ways, they'll stay out of that area. But I just got to hopefully get some of those plants up. Okay. But there's one cat that stays out there all day.
All right. So I was mentioning, you go through your walkways. You know where your walkways are going to be now. You dig all the topsoil out of that. You put it into your planting area, into the area where you're going to be planting. And whatever you've got underneath that, whatever your soil subsurface is, your subsoil. If it's clay, then you're going to have to do something else with it. If it's sand, you're going to have to do something else with it. You may be able to lift a small amount of that and move it along with that the topsoil material that you've got. But anyways, you're going to dig down until you start getting into stuff that you don't want to put on the surface. Then bring in your wood chips, fill up your walkway with wood chips, 100% full of wood chips, side to side, all the way. After about 2 years, give or take, those wood chips will have broken down, and you'll be able to come back in and dig them out again, and hopefully dig out a little bit more of the material that was subsoil, whether it was clay or whether it was sand or silt, loam, whatever it was, because your organic matter will penetrate it into that from the wood chips that you added. Now you're going to take that new soil that you've made and bring it and put it onto your planting area, fill up the trench with wood chips again. So your composting is taking place in your walkway that you weren't using for anything else. If anything, you were kind of worried about, what am I going to do about all these weeds that keep on coming out of the walkway and invading my garden beds? Right? Mm-hmm. You don't have weeds in your walkway. You now have wood chips in your walkway that are turning into topsoil in your walkway. And then while they're turning into topsoil in your walkway, every time it rains, the water comes down, strikes the soil.
It's breaking it down.
It strikes the soil, and whenever it does, it kind of compacts the soil just a little tiny bit, flattens it out, makes it harder for water to penetrate into the surface of the soil to get in. If it's compacted, it's harder for the water to penetrate. So the water doesn't penetrate. It gets in a little bit, but the rest of it just goes off, right? Off your soil, off your property, taking your grass with it. Maybe in some cases, until it finds some place that's going to stop it. And if it comes to that walkway that you've just dug out, it just had a place that it got to, and suddenly it's not going off your property. It's now going down and into that walkway that's full of wood chips. And depending upon the size of the rain event and the depth that you've got your walkway dug to, you can bank a lot of moisture in this walkway whenever you have rain. This is important because if you're any place like we are, we get enough rainfall. We just don't get enough at the right time. So if we can bank that water somehow, then that would be great. And one of the easiest and simplest ways that we can bank that rainfall is right there in that walkway, in that organic matter that we packed into the walkway. So our compost is taking place in the walkway while we're walking along. It's storing our water for us whenever it rains, so we don't have to break out the garden hose every time whenever there's no rain, because there's plenty of water stored there. We tried it out so far this past year. I got the corn through a drought without having to break out the garden hose. So that's pretty encouraging.
Corn's kind of broken.
That's just, we only had one shovel width at this point. It was about 60 inches deep, one shovel width wide, and the corn survived the drought with no irrigation, other than the rainfall that it had going into the drought being charged into those walkways. So far so good. The project is working.
Hi, Krubby the Beagle. Hi, Hooga Homestead.
Yeah, Mary is saying, whenever it rains, if you lose any of the soil off, where's that soil going to go? It's going to go to the low spot. Where's the low spot? I created that. That's my walkway. What do I do with my walkway? Well, every couple of years, I shovel it out and I put fresh wood chips in it because I'm creating new topsoil. And there's nowhere for that topsoil to go except for back on my own land again.
Yeah, people don't realize it.
Going out to the street. So I don't lose any soil that way. Well, it got hit by a car over the winter, and I just finally got it put back together.
If you break down the sticks in your yard, they're going to turn into soil eventually. Because if you look in your Miracle-Gro bag, there's little sticks in there that are soft kind of because they've been breaking down over a period of time. Yeah. But I have an area where we have a bunch of leaves.
The people that sell you the bag soil, guess what they started out with? They started out with wood chips.
I have I have an area where there's a bunch of leaves, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all those leaves from the hail thing last year, the ones I didn't use. Right. So then
you got a lot of leaves out of that.
A lot. So the chickens go in there and when they're out free ranging, because that's on their side of the yard, because I have the yard split. Okay, so they go through scratching, digging for worms and stuff, and then they also poop in there. So that you have the leaves breaking down in the soil and then the chicken manure. So what I do is sometimes if I don't have any topsoil, I don't have money for it, I'll go and I'll dig up under those leaves and I'll dig the topsoil up until where it hits the clay, and I'll put that in a pot. Right. And on the bottom, I'll put sticks and leaves right here. And then on the top, I'll put that nice layer of soil that's been composting under the leaves, and the chicken's been adding their addition to it. And so I've been using that. So we're going to see how well that works this year.
If anything, you might worry that it could get too hot because chicken manure is pretty good stuff. So if you're using you dig down and I'm going to take one shovelful from this spot.
Yeah, that might be in the leaves part.
So there's going to be the part on the top that's pretty hot, but there's going to be everything else that's in there that's more Asian mature. So if you mix those together, it probably would be just fine.
Yeah, I don't, it's not like they free range every day, but I think just being under those leaves, I think there's we'll see. I'm doing a little test on it. And I put certain pots where there's no Miracle-Gro or any kind of potting soil at all. It's literally just that dirt, and we're going to see how how fertile that dirt actually is.
Yeah. So Mary's saying, yeah, she's hauled this stuff before. It is. It's just wood chips and water and time. And so your Miracle Grow potting soil is what you are manufacturing underneath your feet in your walkway. Feel free to take your manuring pitchfork, lift it up, throw your kitchen scraps in there, drop it back down, walk on. Maybe tomorrow you're going to put your next batch of scraps in there. By the time you get around a couple of years from now and digging this out, they're going to be completely composted. So
I have a bin back there where I've been adding
would
leaves.
You like to grow something where the compost bin is?
No, because it's shaded by the shaded by the shed, kind of.
You couldn't grow anything there anyway.
No.
That might be.
Somebody got them for me, so I thought I would use one for compost and one for planting. I'm actually planting in one of them. They're big.
Another good use for a place that's in the shade all the time. Maybe a water storage tank or something. Since it's going to be in the shade all the time, then it's not going to grow algae very easily. The water will stay nice and cool.
There's actually still some room on that wall over there for that, technically. Yeah. We have plenty of room in our backyard for any kind of.
But now I've cleared up space because I don't have to have area for a dedicated compost heap. I could just.
I don't think my beds are close enough to each other. I'd have to revamp. That would have to be like a next year plan. You know what I mean? Because it's already kind of in. Yeah. I got mad at my garden when the hail and all the elements killed it. I got so mad. I just started. Once I got mad enough, I could go in the backyard and look at it. I just started composting it. And I've been composting it longer than normal because I kind of gave up on it. So, but that put me ahead because I've been working on it, amending it, all the soil areas all year. So it should be a good gardening year.
Somebody's up here looking down going, Gail needs more organic matter. What can I do to give Gail more organic matter? Oh, I know, hailstorm.
What? The what?
Somebody's looking down here saying, Gail needs more organic matter in her soil. What can I do to help Gail get more organic matter in her soil? Oh, I know, hailstorm.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But my channel took a little dive when my garden died because I got mad. And then I didn't want to do anything. I was angry. I was really mad. And but I shouldn't have gave up. I should have just kept going. You know what I mean? You got more seed, throw some more seed in there. There was no point to give up. The day after the hail, I shouldn't have been crying and whining and moaning and groaning.
What can I get started now?
Get your seed packets out and throw some more seed in there. Dude, you have 32 varieties from the IBG, plus everything Jan sent, plus everything you bought. And you just got a ton of seed. You got a whole box in another container of seed. You're fine, girl. Just throw some more seed in there. So there was no reason to be moaning and groaning.
Texas.
I know.
You guys don't have winter.
People were teasing me about putting things in the ground already, and I'm like, have you looked at our temperatures?
Yeah.
It's warm here.
Hey, isn't it?
I already have flowers coming up. So
I'd be envious, but you guys have fire ants.
Oh, yeah. I've been fighting the fire ants.
I know.
So
I'm just out of reach.
I have winter,
I don't have fire ants.
I've tested the borax in sugar water method. And when you're and then I've also tested the boiling water method. Now, the boiling water method takes a lot more effort. But if you're not growing anything in that container yet, like I was going through where I'm going to put my tomatoes, and I was planting basil ahead of time.
So they invaded your potting soil, right?
Well, no, this one is an in-ground bed. It's got a cement. We actually had some cementing work done on our house because we had some flooding because we're right next to a creek. So we put in a potting thing for growing because we were already having cement work done. So while we were there, hubby said, let's put in a nice gardening bed for you at the same time. So I have it's a raised bed, but it's cemented in there. So that's actual dirt. But that dirt has been amended over several years. And now he's erected the T-post in there for my tomatoes. So that's my tomato bed.
All right.
So hopefully they'll get good enough. I had a really good year with them the year before that. And there were so many tomatoes there. I needed the T-post. They were just falling over. And then last year I just got mad. But anyway, so hopefully this, that was the bad year. This is going to be the good year. And we're going to.
Well,
we'll see.
Don't know it's going to be the good year. It's going to be a year. But even the bad ones, they sometimes have lessons for us. So it's okay, I guess, in the end. We have to go through our lives one way or the other, so we may as well enjoy the ride. Oh no, my tab popped off. I'm drinking an invisible soft drink. You can't see it, but it's a Sprite. The Sprites are invisible. It's invisible. You can't see it. All right. Hey, I think Gail lost her internet. Oh no! Whatever will we do? I'll tell you what, guys. I'll just entertain myself for a minute here. So yes, today I planted. You're not going to believe this. Today I planted 3 different types of dahlias and 2 different types of dahlias. It was great. I dug. Mary says, play the guitar. Okay, I'm going to play the guitar. Hopefully Gail will get back. All right, just so you know, Gail, I can't play anything. I can't play anything copyrighted, can I? I found out something interesting today. No, it wasn't today. Not too long ago. I found this out. Ariel is saying, it sounds like here, no winter, but we have possums, rats, ants, fruit-eating birds. Having to pick my figs just as they turn and ripen them indoors. I'm freezing to make. Oh, nice. Strong and free. Yeah, I could, huh? I mean, that's what I wrote, right? I don't want to play that one though. I want to play something different. I wanted to play this actually. I realized something. There is a certain chord progression that shows up in a whole bunch of different songs, and it's an F chord followed by a C, followed by a D minor, and I think this is a B minor, right? Yeah. That one, right? There's let's see, who all does that? That's Spirit of Radio by Rush has that exact same chord progression, and there was another band that was doing this not too long ago. Exact same chord progression. That was exactly the same thing. Red Hot Chili Peppers had one too. Yeah. Yeah, that one. So that's actually the same chord progression. Anyway, I was noodling around. I was playing with that earlier on. I don't think you can really get a copyright strike for just playing those little bits and pieces and noticing exactly the same chord progression shows up in several different artists' work. So if it is copyright infringement, they're all guilty of it.
Yeah.
I don't know who was the first person that decided those chords went together.
No.
I don't know. Somebody said, "Hey, you can't own the pentatonic scale."
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so you're back.
I'm back.
Now you're back.
Yeah,
from outer space.
That is Curly Sue.
Curly Sue, huh?
Curly Sue.
Pretty
You know, from the old 80s movie, Curly Sue? So when I very first named her, hubby and daughters tried to call her Curly or Sue. And I said, so I walked around the house until they finally broke them of it, saying, Curly Sue, no space. Curly Sue, no space. It's one name. It's all together, because I didn't want him to call her Curly or Sue. But I was going to name the 3 cats Larry, Moe, and Curly. Then she turned out to be a girl. Okay. So that's when I changed it to Curly Sue.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Kind of like I wound up with a German Shepherd dog named Josie. Yeah. There had been a show on TV at the time when I was a kid. So now you know how old I am. About a police dog who was a German Shepherd named Joe. So one day, my brothers and I are out playing around, and this German Shepherd comes up and it's like between us and the house. And we go, oh, you know, because this police dog in the show, Joe, he's pretty tough, right? He's like, I hope it's friendly. And she looks at us and goes, and runs back to the house and sits on the porch and waits for us to get home. I was like, well, I guess he's friendly. Notice I said she at first and then he, because you see, we have been watching a TV show about a dog named Joe. So we decided this German Shepherd's name must be Joe because that's the only German Shepherd we knew. And it was named Joe. Mom comes home and says, boys, yeah, Ma, you can't name the dog Joe. What? Why can't we name the dog Joe? Nah? Because this dog is a girl.
Oh, yeah.
And so we decided to name her Josie. There you go.
Well, that's funny. Yeah. Well, we have a Picostomus fish named Tinkerbell, but we don't know if it's a girl or boy. So, but we shorten it sometimes and say Tink. But they had this. They had this fish before I even moved here.
That's odd. That is an odd name for an algae eater.
Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell. Yeah.
Or Tink. This fish is huge.
That is strange. These are unusual. These are unusual plants. I mean, you have to get them in just the right.
Tinkerbell. I know.
Yeah.
I have a dog named Football.
Yep. Hey, that's actually pretty good. Just the background behind me is actually the pecan tree. That center picture is actually the pecan.
Oh yeah, I noticed when you got up. I thought maybe it might be the same flower, but there was maybe a different one in the middle. I thought, well, maybe there's a flower there. But when you got up, I got to see that
it's a pecan tree, and you notice where the gnome's head is, with the red top. There we go. So I figured it would fit.
Yeah. Funny. So
I have to amuse myself. Yes.
Let's see if I have any more questions for you.
You were asking. I think the first one you asked was what am I growing this year, and I kind of got started on. I've got a lot of these brand new ones. I of course showed that to you. I'm not all growing all perennials. Like I do grow some annuals as well. I got lots of garlic going. I've got these walking onions going that are very easy to multiply and spread around. And I should actually have those available for sale next year. I hope. I wanted to have them for sale this year, but the drought hit us a little bit harder than I was ready to deal with. Set me back a little bit, but should be all right this year. I've expanded our gopher-proof bed, so the gophers won't be eating them. That was the first big problem I had producing these things. I was fortunate enough to get my hands on
Canadian Family Farm. Let me say hi, Wise. Have a couple.
I was fortunate enough to get my hands on a few of these Egyptian walking onions, got them started, and went, wow, these are really amazing. And other people said, yeah, those are amazing. We'd like some too. And I was like, well, let's see if I can figure out a way to produce them and ship them and everything else. And I shipped a few a couple of years ago. I said, you know what? I should probably be doing this for a living or something, because this is pretty cool. I can grow these plants. I can sell them. People want them. This is awesome. It kind of reminds me when I was really little, walking along with my radio flyer wagon behind me, right, going up to the people at the ball games, going, "Hi, would you like to buy some marigolds? Or, whatever I happen to have. I was trying to sell people plants back then too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
When I was little. They're sitting here watching a baseball game and they're eating sunflower seeds. Of course, they're roasted and salted sunflower seeds. And I'm sitting here with sunflower seeds that have not been roasted. And I know that if you take these sunflower seeds that have not been roasted and you plant them in the ground, they produce the plant that all the seeds that are in that bag full that you just bought for like $2 or $3, all the seeds that are in there could be produced from this one sunflower that you grew from this one seed that wasn't roasted. And I could get you an entire handful. See, what I've got's more valuable than the stuff that you've got. Why don't you want this? I didn't register.
Yeah, that seed that you feed to the chickens, the black oil sunflower seeds. So they put out sunflowers, but they're not a one stalk sunflower. It branches out like this. And people are like, why are your sunflowers like that? I said, because I planted some of my chicken feed black oil sunflower seeds I planted some of those in my yard, and now they just volunteer everywhere, and that's why they have multiple heads on them.
Yeah. Do I have any over here? Yeah, I've got an entire bag of them right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But now here's the interesting thing: if you take them and crack them open, the black oil sunflower seed, you crack them open, you'll discover that the kernel inside is just about exactly the same size as the kernel inside the jumbo mammoth sunflower. So those really big seeds that you get, the seed coat's huge. You pull the seed coat off, the kernel inside, same size.
Okay, I want to test that because I got black wool sunflower seeds from the chickens, and somebody sent me the mammoth sunflowers. I want to put those side by side and mark them and see if they look the same. I'm very curious now.
Neighbor across the way has got a Mongolian giant that is a little tiny bit bigger than the mammoth, but not by much.
Hello, bits and pieces.
Whenever he's all done with his sunflowers, and he's going to grow about maybe 20 or 30 over there, he'll get the seeds out, and he'll have a couple hundred seeds in each head because they're huge, but the seeds are also just really huge, and the kernels inside are just only slightly bigger than the black oil sunflower kernels. And I got so many more kernels with the black oil sunflowers than he gets with his big ones. So I know they're cool. They're huge. They're really impressive to look at, but I think I've got the better deal because my seed is cheaper.
Yeah, I don't.
It's cheaper for me to plant what I've got, and ultimately I wind up with more food out of it at the end of the day.
Do you plant sunflowers with those, or do you use those to feed the birds?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Both.
All right.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
I feed the birds, and I plant a lot of sunflowers, and not all the sunflowers I plant make it. As a matter of fact, I get very few sunflowers I plant actually make it.
Really?
A lot of the seeds get eaten.
Yeah,
a lot get eaten.
Well,
a lot of the little plants also get eaten before they grow into it. Because I just throw them out there and let them grow. I'll just walk out there and just take a handful.
Oh, so you don't even plant
it around like I'm angry at it, and then rake it through, and then move on to another place. Throw it around like I'm angry at it, and then rake it through.
Oh wow, that's mine. Mine just volunteer everywhere. But sometimes it'll be where hubby doesn't want them.
After I do that, yeah, here and there, they'll want to pop up here, they want to pop up there. If I get too many in one spot, I'll tear a couple out. So I'll have little sunflowers popping up here and there. I have a little safflower popping up here and there. Safflower is a type of thistle, but it's not, a nasty.
Oh, I have a question. Is an amaranth, is that a flower or is that something you eat?
Both.
Okay.
Well, you don't eat the flower of the amaranth. The seed of the amaranth seed, the little tiny seeds that it produces, you can eat those as if they were a grain. They're not a grain, of course. They're a flower seeds, but they're like buckwheat, where buckwheat is a. Oh shoot! Do I have a pack of buckwheat? I do. Oh, I got a pack of it right here. There's some pink soba buckwheat, and you see all the pretty little pink flowers that are on that. This secret addiction baker.
Well, I looked at them and they were really pretty, and I thought, is that a flower? And I kept meaning to look that up, and I was like,
But of course, they're buckwheat, and buckwheat looks kind of like that. Those are the seeds. It's a pseudo cereal. You have your buckwheat noodles, your buckwheat pancakes, etc., etc. people use it kind of like you would use wheat, but it doesn't have any gluten in it. But it's the seed of a flower. Isn't that nifty? So you could grow pretty little flowers. Now this is a perennial form of buckwheat, and apparently it makes more flowers than it makes seeds. So this wouldn't necessarily be the one that you'd want to grow for necessarily a staple, but you can grow some, and if you can get it to grow where you're at and perennialize, then every year you get pink blossoms and you get a few edible seeds too. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I looked up amaranth.
I have not managed to get these to grow for me from one year to the next year. No, I've got them to grow, but they haven't come back a year later. So hopefully we'll
lamb's quarter.
Yes. Okay. So amaranth.
I got the amaranth with my seed swap, so I've never had it before. I didn't know what it was.
They're related, and theoretically they could cross pollinate. Theoretically, I don't know if they will or not, but it's possible.
Cross pollinate with what? Other stuff?
Lamb's quarter and amaranth might possibly to get familiar with each other and swap genetic material, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But the amaranth seeds are great for starting up amaranth greens. The young plants are very, very edible. You grow them up as a microgreen. If you grow the one I grow, you'd want to grow it as a microgreen. The one I grow is not very good as a green once it gets much older because it becomes bitter. It has a lot of dark red coloration to it that apparently also makes it bitter whenever it gets dark red.
Yeah, mine didn't have a picture because it was in a little seed bag, like when you do the seed exchange kind of thing.
It's probably really high in antioxidants. It's still good for you, but it's just a little bit bitter once it gets mature. But the young sprouts are perfectly great.
See, I always thought it was a lettuce.
There you go. Yeah, you'd use it like a lettuce or like a source. I would use it for a source of microgreens because they produce so many tiny little seeds. You could grow an amaranth plant and it's going to make a seed head maybe about this big across.
Oh, wow.
Tall. Well, the one I grow is the elephant trunk amaranth. It makes this really massive, huge seed head that you're easily going to get a pound or more of seeds out of. Pound or more of seeds that are about the size of like number 8 buckshot. Tiny, tiny, tiny little things. And each one of those, if you were to spread them out on a tray and moisten them and spray them, let them sprout, each one of them will produce a nice little sprout. Kind of like chia. It's a microgreen that you could take and now put a little vinaigrette and oil on and salt, pepper, and middle of the winter, and you're eating fresh greens. And that one plant gave you a pound of these seeds, which is quite a bit.
Wow, that's neat. Yeah, I heard loofah gives you a lot of seed, but I've never. This will be my 3rd year trying the loofah. The first year, the trellis got knocked over. The second year, it got attacked by ants and hail and triple digits, and I got mad at everything. So
They're conspiring to keep you from growing loofah.
Yeah, I've also had I've also had the ants attack my corn, so I've not had a lot of luck with corn either. But I didn't get any this year, so I didn't grow it. But I tried sweet corn. I tried like ornamental corn, like glass gem corn, Indian corn, stuff like that.
Looky there.
Now, what kind of corn is that?
That is big horse spotted corn.
Is it the pretty color corn or is it yellow corn?
It's pretty color. It's speckled purple and white.
That's what I was trying to. I did actually get some little ears of the Indian corn. Like little ones, and I kept them for a while, but there wasn't enough to like harvest. But
those are nice undyed paper envelopes.
What do you do with the corn? Do you eat it as popcorn or do you eat it like corn?
It's a flour corn, but you can eat it fresh too.
Yeah.
Of course, this is a digital scale, so I'm going to turn it on and put the tray on there, and we'll hit tear. All right. So this is what I do with this particular corn. All right. So this is the corn that I kept for seed from the grand total of 600 plants that we grew last year. Wow. I can get about 300 plants in two cycles. I can get 2 growing seasons out with this corn because it has a 90-day maturity from seed to mature. Not once it comes up, it's 90. No, it's from the time you put the seed in the ground till the time you're ready to start pulling the ears off. 90 days. And if you wait too long past 90 days, they're going bad on the plant. So you better pull them.
Yeah.
And then turn around and plant another crop because you have time. All right. So this is what I do with them most of the time, other than plant them and grow them, because I only really have that small patch. But I have this really cool setup where I'm at. Nobody is growing corn anywhere around me for miles in any direction. And I'm in a valley, which means you'd have to get outside of the valley in the first place for your other kind of corn to cross-pollinate. So this particular native strain, which is one of the oldest, most genetically diverse heirloom corns I've ever been able to find, which Baker Creek is not carrying anymore. They lost it. I got it. I'm selling it at exactly the same price that Baker Creek was charging for it back in 2019. So I have brought back 2019 prices for seed corn, and there is 16 grams or about 100, so enough to plant 4 rows, 25 feet long. Nice little backyard patch of corn. So I can take that, and if I don't drop it on the floor, we put it in there. And of course, I'd write down on the envelope when it was packaged what it is, and stuff like how to plant it, basic things like that. At some point, I think we're going to get some stickers that I could just put on the package, or maybe put right there on the back where the seal is. Mm-hmm. So the sticker will go on the back, and it'll cover that seal, right? So if the sticker's not broken, then it's still sealed from whenever it left here. We'll be putting a little bit of biochar inside the pack for additional water absorption.
Do you have like an Etsy store or somewhere where you sell your stuff? Because I've been in your lives before where you're talking about different things.
I have.
If you do, I can try to link that in the description box of this. You want to put it?
I've got an actual web store, so let's see.
Do you?
Hang on a second.
Could your wife put it in the chat for you?
She could if she's a moderator.
She is.
Okay. I don't know. Can you cut and paste, or do I need to? Here.
Oh, your store?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if your wife knew how to do it. She is a moderator. Your wife has been a member on my channel for almost a year. Yeah.
Here we go.
A year.
All right. I went to the live stream chat and put it in live stream chat. I don't see I have chat with Studio in StreamYard. I don't have a window to.
I'll try to go back to this point and put that.
It's okay though. I had YouTube up and muted, so I just went to YouTube and put it in the chat there. Yeah. Ariel says I want to get some mullein. Mullei's a good plant too. So anyway, once I've got the labels, I won't have to hand write these. And I have sold enough of these this year that I'm thinking it may be worth my time to go ahead and have labels printed out, so I can just stick a label, put a sticker back here.
That's a good idea.
I just make a sticker that has the planting information and everything on it, and then I can write down just the year on the sticker, and that way the only writing I have to do is when it is going out, not everything else that goes on there. But anyway, so that's $4.
$4? Is that what you said?
$4.99, exactly the same price that Baker Creek was selling them for whenever they still had it back in 2019.
That's not bad at all. Not bad at all.
And everybody else that I've seen that's selling it is charging about twice that. So
yeah. Yeah, I tried to grow mullein. Mullein didn't come up for me either. I don't know. I wasn't even really sure what it, sometimes I'll try things because somebody sends it to me. And then I figure if I get it up, then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it. Like my lemon balm, lavender. If I can get it up, then I'll look it up. Okay, what do I do with this stuff?
All right, now, okay, good. Okay. You don't want to get
excited. I'm kind of excited with something. I don't know what it was.
You don't want to get excited until you know that it's actually going to grow for you. I understand.
Yeah.
Really, I do.
Yeah,
I do. I've had my hopes dashed too many times. I know exactly what that feeling is like. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I was excited. Okay, I got all the things that I was on my wish list for the seed swap that I did. But I got one thing that I was the most excited about because everybody on YouTube talks about it. So I got seeds for elderberry.
Really? Oh,
I was really, huh?
You have elderberry seed.
Elderberry seed. Yeah, I've always seen people with starts and stuff, but
yeah. That's usually the way to do it. So
I don't know. I put a little bit under the grow light just because I was real excited and I just wanted to see, if I could get it up under there. And then, I had probably like 12 seeds. So I'm going to try some under the grow light and I'm going to try some in the yard. And because I'm the most excited about that one, I'm going to actually look up the best way to plant that. Does it like dry soil or moist soil? And I'm going to look up all that stuff because I don't want to mess it up.
Here's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Since you're pardon me, I ran out of drink. Since you're starting them from seed, that means that they've been reproduced with the mixing of genetic material that occurs whenever you don't vegetatively propagate things. That means that the elderberry that you get from that seed may not be exactly like the elderberry plant that it came from, because it's going to have part of the one plant's genetics, and whatever pollinated it is going to have those genetics too. And the question is, what's it going to turn out like? Is it going to be like the mother plant? Is it going to be like the father plant? Is it going to be like the two of them kind of together in some sort of weird Frankenstein way? Is it going to have like the best qualities of one and maybe the best qualities of the other kind of mashed together? Or is it going to do something else entirely that you never anticipated? Because it's the genetics that come out of it. It's not a clone. It's something new and unique. And you might get one that's bigger than the other ones. You might get one that's sweeter than the other ones, or you might get one that's actually really better for medicine than the other one. I don't know. But whenever they come up, you'll have to go to each one and try the fruits separately and see what they're like.
Yeah, I'm going to do some research.
Sample each one separately and find out if there is a difference, or if there's.
I'm going to sample everything that I've never tried before. I'm going to sample them on a video. Even if I get the hot peppers, and I'm not a huge hot pepper person, if I get it, I'm going to sample it, and then you guys get to laugh at me because I'm a weenie head and I don't eat hot stuff. So that'll be super funny. But I have to actually succeed at growing it. Then I have to try to talk hubby into trying it on a video too. So that would take some work. Yeah. Well, he did try crickets on a video with me. So I guess there's a chance. Yeah, it was like, what was it was like, I want to say it was like ranch or some weird flavor, but the flavor doesn't matter because it's really just like ash, because it's overcooked.
You're not making this sound appetizing at all. I'm not lining up to eat crickets.
I tried cricket and Vegemite in the same day. Okay. Which one was worse, crickets or Vegemite? Which one do you think was worse?
Crickets. Vegemite's pretty good.
Vegemite was worse for me.
Really?
Because at first it tasted good. Yeah. The beginning flavor
you didn't
good.
Like
I liked it. Right? But that little aftertaste in the backward, ugh.
Like it's so kind of buttery. What is that? Oh, don't worry about that. It's just the Vegemite. Oh, what?
But Hubby tried that. He didn't even change his facial expression. It was crazy. He was okay. I mean, the crickets, no reaction. My only reaction to the cricket was that it was ashy. There was no, I mean, you expect when you eat cricket for it to be kind of chewy. Like
Right.
eating a fig or something, kind of, chewy. But no, it was like ash. It just disintegrated in your mouth.
Mary is saying, I can't figure out what wild lettuce actually is and looks like. All right, so if you're walking along and you see this plant that's growing up, and it kind of just has I'm doing this kind of opposite way. How do I do this? Like it's got its leaves just coming up and flopping out onto the ground. They're long. They're maybe pale greenish. They've got spines along the backside and little tiny spines at the very edges, kind of maybe a little serrated on the edges. And whenever you snap that leaf off, it has a little milky latex on the inside. And this particular plant, you've seen it plenty of times. Whenever it gets later on in the year and the heat starts coming on, it shoots up that flower stalk and produces this little downy puff ball flower that just blows everywhere and doesn't really look like much of anything, really. That's wild lettuce, lenticular serrata. I think
I've seen some stuff that comes up in the yard, and also
they say it's edible whenever it's young and tender, but I've never found it young and tender enough to really be palatable to me.
Ariel doesn't want the crickets or the Vegemite. Your wife likes to put up random things. Mullen isn't TP.
I have used TP before.
Will it be
they work really good?
And baby tree, LOL.
They work really good. I spent a lot of time as a teenager running around in the Ozarks, and sometimes whenever you're out in the woods for an extended period of time, you realize there is no way you are going to get back to any place that has a bathroom anytime before it's too late. So you start looking around and you realize that plant growing over there in the nice sunny spot on that little rocky hillside, that nice towering plant with the mounds and mounds and mounds of fuzzy little green leaves that are out there that are all nice and soft on your skin, especially with a little bit of morning dew. Yeah. Those are great for cleaning poo off your bum. So yeah, it is.
Have to find out.
It's really good TP. If you're fortunate enough to live far enough south that you can keep it year round, then just have it planted by your outhouse and party on.
We do have some wild onions growing in our creek side there,
and I think loofah probably worked pretty good for the outhouse too, if you can avoid everything that seems to want to destroy it.
On a daily basis, it'd be a little rough, but in a pinch, not too bad.
Well, imagine if you grew a lot of it and you just took a nice sharp serrated knife and just like cut slices of it.
Oh, slices instead of.
And you have a bucket of water that you've maybe made vinegar, made some vinegar, and you've got vinegar or maybe a little bit of lye soap that's in that bucket of water. Or maybe a bucket of water with vinegar and the one with lye soap too. Who knows? You got that in the outhouse, and whenever it's time to take care of it, you just reach in there, pull a slice out, and then you can drop it right there in the hole with everything else. It'll biodegrade just fine. It was just you grew your own toilet paper. Congratulations.
Well, I hope I don't have to use it for toilet paper. But now that you said that, I will consider it if the world comes to a crazy place.
If things happen and I can't get toilet paper, what do I have that will work that just won't be gross?
That's why I keep asking about things in my yard. Okay, are they edible? Because I'm trying to learn what in my yard is edible. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to learn.
Almost everything is edible. It is just about everything in the yard that, other than grass isn't very edible, but just about everything that volunteers in the yard, most of the time is edible.
Yeah, I know the hen bit is edible to the chickens because I was asking about that.
It's edible to us too. It's just not.
Is it? It's not good tasting.
It's not particularly good. It's just we can eat it, but it doesn't taste good. It doesn't really taste like much of anything. It's kind of green.
Peach using your shirt, because you sure wouldn't want to wear that shirt again, for sure. Did you see what Mike said?
Yeah. Well, I mean. Emergency. I mean, who out there has used a sock in an emergency?
Wash rag.
It's like, oh no, there is no TP here at all, and I cannot get up and go anywhere. And get any, you know what I mean? I have used a sock before. It was an emergency. Huh? I have a few shirts when I'm fishing.
What do you think truckers use on the off ramps? That's funny. Yeah.
So, well, you know, I've got horrendous toenails, and I tear holes in my socks on a regular basis. Okay, so all goes back to dropping cast iron sinks on them when I was little, and them not growing back right anymore. Okay, don't judge. Just I tear holes in my socks, so having to sacrifice one of those is not that big a deal. It probably was going to go in the trash can next week anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Too much information. You're welcome. There you go. Next week, I'll stand on my head and play a kazoo.
Oh, here's the next question. Do you grow like cover crops in the winter, or what do you cover your soil with in the winter, or do you cover it? That was one of my questions.
Anytime I disturb the soil and I wind up with bare soil, I want something growing in it. So I keep, once again, I don't have it near me. It's actually, I think it's behind the green screen next to the door. The shaker, the cumin shaker.
Oh, the garlic powder shaker?
Yep. Do you see it over there?
Last time I saw that, you had it on the porch.
Oh, yeah, I brought it in. I put it right by the door.
I see.
You see it? There's something happening behind the green screen.
I heard that, and I was like, I don't think that sounds like Mary either. It sounds like somebody else.
Drop it on your head.
No. Ta-da! Okay, you're gonna love this. All right, so this particular seasoning shaker has seeds in it, and they're different seeds. You may notice they have different colors. All right, so I like using spent seasoning shakers because they have these holes at the top, which are just great for sprinkling very, very small seeds and broadcast sowing very, very small seeds. What's in here is a mixture of Dutch white clover, spring alfalfa, and bulldog alfalfa. So there's two different types of alfalfa and clover in here. So it's cover crop and nitrogen fixing stuff. All good stuff. So whenever I bare the soil, I just bust this out, and hopefully I get a few clover plants out of it. Usually I get a bunch of weeds too, but slowly but surely, every time I go through and I remove the weeds and I bury soil, I go, okay, here's some clover seed, here's some alfalfa seed, here's some other things, something grow. And I'll either get dead nettle growing, which I have no problem with dead nettle growing. It'll grow and it'll be a ground cover for me. It's great. Bees love it. Bees love it. The ducks love it. I could eat it too if I needed to. There's nothing wrong with that stuff growing in the ground. Geraniums will wind up growing here. Wild geraniums grow everywhere. Let's see what else grows a lot. Those are our main ground covers. Oh, chickweed. Chickweed grows a lot. Chickweed. Other than that, I'm trying to introduce clover as another ground cover.
So see what Ariel says? Any bad smells or funny noises, blame on the dog or cat.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, I plant that everywhere. So yeah, don't leave the ground bare, because if you leave the ground bare, Mother Nature's going to grow something there. You may not like what Mother Nature picks to grow there.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily something bad. As a matter of fact, Mother Nature is not going to grow anything bad anywhere, ever. It's all good. Even the nasty, thorny things, they're good. You just don't know what they're good for.
Yeah, I'm sure they're good for something.
But they're good for something. Trust me, they are.
They're not good for when you're running around with sock feet in the yard. It's not good then.
They have a purpose.
Yeah.
The creator of all did not make them with no purpose. There is a purpose.
Exactly.
You just may not know what it is. And since you don't know what it is, you go, ooh, it smells bad. Or, ooh, ow, that's sharp, it hurts. Or, ooh, it makes me break out in a rash. It's bad. Well, that's, the knowledge of what's good and bad, and you separate yourself from the bad things, but you also miss out on the things that they did that were good too. And you wind up suffering as a result of it. Whenever you're just a dumb ape in the garden, you're going, hey, look, this is an edible flower. Life is good. Hey, wow, thanks for making this beautiful garden for me to live in and tend. I think I'll do that with my life. Somehow we managed to mess that up.
Yeah. I had a lot of henbit and grass.
Even Mary's saying, even poison ivy, it has a purpose. It turns out that
even poison ivy. Ooh.
It turns out
what is its purpose? Yeah, I got to hear this.
If you have an infection that your immune system isn't fighting for some reason, like a persistent infection, like I've got a sore here and it's not healing. As a matter of fact, I actually do have one and I probably do need to treat it. But you could take poison ivy and apply that, and the poison ivy will cause your body to have an allergic reaction. What is an allergic reaction?
Well, I know it causes.
What is an allergic reaction?
Something to happen where it heals itself.
It causes your white blood cells to rally to that spot to deal with the infection, the invader, the thing that's causing that problem. So your body wasn't fighting this infection for some reason. Maybe it didn't recognize that bacteria was hostile for whatever reason, and it's just growing and growing and growing and spreading. Your body's not doing anything. You take the poison ivy, apply it there. You have the histamine reaction, and your white blood cells go boom, pile up there, and immediately start attacking the infection, and your infection goes away.
See, and I kind of had the general idea of that in my brain. I just didn't have Jason Avers' big words to use to explain it. But in my little redneck head, I had it. I just didn't have all the technical terms. You know what I mean? Like, I know that
it causes a chemical burn. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, he's crazy.
It's a chemical burn. I bet you guys are a hoot.
If your immune system is not fighting an infection, that's when you apply it. Don't apply it if your immune system is fighting the infection normally. Okay, I got a cut on my arm here. I think it's okay. Let me take my bandage off and have a look. Oh yeah. So I sliced it open. I sliced it open pretty good last week, but it's almost completely healed up. It's very nice. I've been using oregano as an antiseptic on there, and then just a little strip of gauze over it. I cut all the way through the skin, all the layers of skin. I was looking at meat, and it was quick too. It was just oh my goodness, like and no stitches, just oil of oregano and slapped a bandage on it and called it a day.
Yeah.
And that's
my big injuries right now are caused from Curly Sue. She likes to scratch me.
But if I had an infection here and for some reason my immune system was not fighting it, then urushiol would cause that reaction and then make the immune system fight it.
You see what your wife said about you?
Uh-huh.
That's what I was saying a while ago. You bet you and Mary are wild, crazy together.
She insists that it's a chemical burn. I say it's like a chemical burn, but it is not, in fact, a chemical burn.
Skin collagen, yeah, possibly.
It is like a chemical burn, but it is not actually a chemical burn. Similar.
I have one of the baby chicks in the utility room that's just squawking a lot. So I'm starting to wonder if
Mike, don't use poison ivy as toilet paper. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, no.
Don't do it.
That would not be a comfortable situation.
There's a better plant to use as toilet paper. Yeah. Comes from Australia.
Almost anything.
No, don't. No, you were going to give them poison shimmick. You can use poison shimmick in the same way that you use poison oak or poison ivy. Any urushiol producing member of the genus RHUS, Rus. Incidentally, the regular shimmics, the staghorn shimmics, are also members of the Rus genus, which is kind of interesting, but they don't give people allergic reactions. Go figure. There's Adrian.
Here.
Yeah.
Adrian is here. Hi. We talked about your seed swap a little bit earlier. I talked about some of the seeds that I received. Huh?
Adrian, you see the flowers behind me? That's what I planted today. I planted these ones. These ones too. Yeah.
That's cool that you made that up.
Now, it'll be cool if the plants come out looking anything like those pictures.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, sure, why not?
Oh, That one right there.
I don't know. I'm wondering if anybody's notification.
Actually, this one too. I like both of these. I like them all, but
I really like them all.
they're gonna be.
I'm drawn to the one right above your head.
You really like that burgundy one, huh?
I do, but I also like the purple and the yellow purple one too.
One.
Those two over there, like too.
It was called Moussaka. I got it from a Dutch company that sells bulbs.
Yeah, they're really all pretty, and I like purple. Anyway, I like all these colors.
These are just some examples. There's so many different ones out there that you could take a pallet of maybe a dozen different edible flowers.
Look at all these purple loving people here. Purple.
Oh yeah, and these aren't the only purples out there. There are other ones too.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, find a pallet of maybe a dozen different edible flowers that you like. Get them going in your yard, and if you want, set up your Etsy store, or if you've got a regular web store like I have, sell them. People like buying flowers. Heck, if it's something I don't have, I'll buy them because I'm a sucker for a different daylily. I like different varieties. I just can't get enough of them.
Today, I talked myself out of going to the local gardening store because it's a small city, but we still have a little store. And I had to talk myself out of it. I was like, oh, I really want to go over there and get some kind of pretty flowers. And I was like, girl, if you do that, it's going to freeze. And then you're going to be trying to lug it into the house. Yeah. If I got it, I'd have to put it in a pot.
The bathtub is off limits. What? You can't take a bath. You can't take a shower. Why? Oh, it's full of plants. This has happened more than once.
What everybody's saying. Talking of purple.
I might get stuck with my own bathroom one of these days. Like, here, Jason, this is your bathroom. Oh, wow, I get a tub. Yeah, because you're going to want to put your plants in it.
I got to ask you a question. So, do you grow in any kind of pots or containers in your yard, Jason?
Not usually, no.
Not usually. Well, I'm doing that weird container growing collaboration again this summer.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I'd mention that in case you want to enter in on that little thing.
And also, I believe growing in a container is part of the annual gardening challenge that Robert and John are doing.
Oh, yeah.
They include growing in a container as part of that.
Are you in it?
No.
Are you in it this year?
I am not in it this year.
Oh, okay.
I am not in it this year because
either.
The way I wind up harvesting, my vegetables makes it kind of difficult for me to do the entire weigh-in thing, because typically, whenever I'm going out there and say I want to get some daylily tubers, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make an omelet. I want some daylily tubers, and I'm gonna grab some of these onions over here, and I'm gonna get this over there. I just pick it up as I go. I grab the egg and I get inside and I make my omelet. But I stopped for one moment to measure the number of daylily tubers that I was putting into the omelet, and this is ridiculous. I can't be adding this extra step every single meal of weighing everything to go, well, this is what I produce and this is what I'm eating, this is what I'm eating, because just the way I harvest is whenever I'm hungry, I go get the food and I cook it and I eat it.
Yeah, that's me too. That's one. My husband said that when I was
my garden designed this way, that when I'm hungry, I just go and I get the food.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like lettuce,
food.
If I'm making tacos, I just walk out to the planter. I pick a tomato, I pick some lettuce, some cilantro. I go back into the house, and then I make up my, wash it and make up my dinner. Yeah, I don't want the extra step of weighing it every time. Yeah. That's definitely one issue. Hubby said I put too much stress on myself.
Calories per 100 grams. And the last time I made a duck egg omelet with daylily tubers in it, I put in 40 grams of daylily tubers. Okay, how many omelets do I eat? And of course, I don't want to even do the paperwork.
Yeah, too stressful. My husband said... He said you had fun with Shed Wars, but you also were very stressed out. So
Yeah.
that's what he said. He said that about me. He said you were putting too much stress on yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm still kicking butt in the garden, but I'm just doing it for me. And I am going to be showing some videos planting and some videos harvesting and stuff like that.
If you're growing a more conventional and ordinary type of garden, right, where you're trying to mimic a farm only in miniature,
Yeah.
then you go, okay, well, here I got my harvested tomatoes. We weigh all our tomatoes. I got my harvested squash. We weigh all our squash. And then you're canning and you're preserving and you're constantly doing all this stuff. I don't want to grow anything that I have to do a whole lot of work to preserve or can or do anything else with. Mainly because I'm trying to think ahead to the point in the future where do I know that I'm going to be able to get lids for those canning jars at some point in the future? Well, if I'm not going to be able to get lids to those canning jars, then I want to use my canning jars as sparingly as possible to make them last, right? Only stuff that the only way I'm going to be able to preserve this is if I put this in a jar and I seal it with this lid. Okay, I've got this preserved. Hopefully I have other ways of preserving food. So squash, like winter squash, I don't have to do anything to that except, keep it dry and keep it relatively cool. Don't let it freeze. Winter squash is easy. Sweet potatoes, I harvest them, pull them up, let them cure in the sun for a couple of days, flip them, so they get dry all around, so they don't rot off, and then pack them in a straw or something so they stay nice and dry, and keep them cool. Don't let them freeze, and those will keep. Things like canna lily tubers, I can get away, I think, with leaving them in the ground and dig them up as I need them. But I did notice I do have to water those extra. The drought was really bad on them. They produce a lot of calories. I mean, a lot of calories, to the point where really that could be your number one staple crop in most of the U.S. if you wanted to. Just make sure it gets enough water, and canna lily, the rhizome will get yay big around or bigger, and big, like one plant has about 20 pounds of rhizome in it. And as far as nutrition density goes, it's better than a potato.
Yeah.
As far as calories, more calories than a potato. It's got a little bit of fiber to it, so you actually feel like you're eating something. It's not stringy. It's just there's substance to what you're eating. It'll fill you up good. And it's a flower. It's just a flower. It grows from rhizomes. You divide the rhizomes. You spread the flower around to other places. So easy to plant. So easy to grow. In large portions of the country, you can just put it in the ground, leave it there, forget about it, walk away. 10 years from now, you go, oh, I'm hungry. I walk over here, I dig it up. Oh, wow, look, I've got an edible rhizome here that's full of calories that I can take and I can boil for about 45 minutes or so, peel that skin off, slice it up, toss it with a little bit of butter, hog fat, bacon, whatever. I've got some onions, some greens, some other things. Oh, wow, I found an egg. There we go. And wow, it's dinner. And it was growing in your yard this entire time. You didn't have to do anything. You said, go, pretty flowers over there, and keep on going about your day. I want a lot of things like that. Most of the things I grow are going to be like that. They'll either produce their crop for you, and all you have to do is go harvest. Or whenever you're harvesting, you go and I dig up this root, but now I've got this plant, this plant, this plant, this plant, this plant, this plant, this plant. Whenever I started, I had this one plant. Now I've got 20. So I dig up this root and I take the 20 plants and I plant them around in other places. So I fed myself and I expanded my garden at the same time.
Yeah.
And I replanted at the same time. And now I go cook dinner. And, did you do your work? Yeah, I did my work for the harvest next year and the year after that and the year after that. And I took care of it all at the same time I was getting food today. So
yeah, that's a good.
The more I can make my garden like that, the more happier I am. Yeah. Eatable weeds that I can't kill. Yeah. I find the edible weeds that I can't possibly kill that actually taste good. This is the other thing. They have to taste good. If they don't taste good, it's just not worth it.
Exactly.
I tried eating nasturtiums. I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm going to grow them, but just to look pretty. Just to look pretty.
I don't like
them. I do want to try a flower, but I'll have to give Jason a list of flower and ask him which ones taste good, because I don't want to taste anything like not good. So I'll email you a list of what I have, what I'm going to grow, and then
All
you
right.
can tell me which one's edible, and I'll make a video of me eating my first flower. Hello, Autumn. How are you?
Spicy.
Spicy, yeah. The only thing I plan to can this year is I'm going to grow my first pickling cucumbers, and I have a trellis set up and all that. And I want to can some pickles. I've never done it. I just want to try it.
Yeah,
So I have a plan. So we'll see. And I have plenty of jars. I have a whole thing of jars in the utility room. It's not even used. Hello, Cindy.
She's saying that she couldn't find it. She had to search for it.
For what?
Maybe that's why people were joining so slow.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, well,
Yep, everything is edible once. Mike was saying, "Isn't anything is edible? Everything is edible
if
once.
you're brave enough." Yeah.
At least once. Yeah, you can eat it. Can't eat it a second time, but you can eat it that one time.
Yeah, I want to try one. I want to try a flower to see to say.
For flowers, so far, daylilies are absolutely the best edible flower. The cannas that I grow, you can eat those flowers too, but they don't taste like much of anything. They're more like eating a lettuce. They don't taste like anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, you put your salad dressing on them, they taste like your salad dressing. Same way the lettuce does. They're just more colorful. So
yeah.
But daylilies taste good. I mean, the flowers taste good. I mean, to the point where if that was the only thing you had to eat, you wouldn't really be suffering.
Yeah.
And they're let's see, they're loaded with protein. They're high in fat. Oddly enough, the flower has fat, which is one of the reasons why if you decide you're not going to eat it when it's in full bloom, but you want to let it bloom for the day and then pick it at the end of the day. Pick the flower at the end of the day. It's now wilted and it's kind of closed like this. It's kind of right.
Indiana Backyard Gardener says it's not even showing me as live.
Man, oh no.
Isn't that weird?
Lulu is asking which flower. We're talking about Hemerocallis fulva, daylily. The two bottom flowers on behind me are examples. Okay. These are just very colorful sports. But yes, you can also eat these particular flowers. They're just pretty. That's all. All the flowers behind me are edible. The ones on the top are all dahlias, and the ones at the bottom are the daylily. Hemerocallis fulva. Don't confuse these with real lilies. I did a live stream not too long ago on how to tell the difference between what is an edible bulb and what is a poisonous one. And true lilies are bulbs. And when you cut into them, they'll have layers. So you can tell they're a bulb. If they don't have layers and you cut into what you think is a bulb, it's not a bulb, it's a corm. And if you don't know what corm you're cutting into, don't eat it, because there's no easy way to tell if a corm is poisonous or not by some easy to tell identifier. But a bulb, if you cut into it, it's got layers. Okay, it looks like a bulb. It's got the spot on the bottom for the roots to come out, spot on the top for the stem to come out. You cut into it, it's got layers. Sniff it. Does it smell like onions? Does it smell like garlic? No. You can be a little bit brave. Just touch it to your tongue. You don't have to eat it. You just touch it to your tongue. Okay. Run that around inside your mouth. Does it taste like onions or garlic? No. It's either, well, it is in some degree toxic, and if you get a spicy sense whenever you do that, you're also allergic to it. Don't eat it. That's the easiest way to tell. So if you dig it up and it's got a bulb and it doesn't smell like an onion or garlic, it's not edible. Easiest way to tell. Other than that, if you dig it up and you see these little finger-like tubers on it, and it looks like these two plants down at the bottom, those are daylilies. They're edible. You can eat them. You may want to boil them for about 5 to 10 minutes or so to soften them up. And then if you don't need a lot of fiber in your diet, slip the skin off of the tuber, because it's very fibrous and it will make you regular. It's not a laxative, but it will make you regular.
Yeah.
Hosta is, yeah. Adrian says hosta is edible. Hosta is so edible, I have not been able to grow any around here. The gophers get to them before I do. So that they're edible and tender.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I went to look for myself and I did find myself, but that's me looking for me. So who knows?
Adrian said, eat the spring shoots of the hostas like asparagus. And that's another common ornamental plant. People grow them in the yards all the time. They're edible. Daylilies, edible. Dahlias, edible. Edible flower and edible tubers too. So one thing I noticed when I was planting those dahlias is the tubers kind of reminding me of what a yacon tuber looks like. A yacon is a very sweet tuber crop from the Andes Mountains. We're getting some of that in this year too. I don't know when it's going to arrive, but we should be planting some of that too. I'm kind of curious. Does it make a flower that looks like a dahlia? Because the tubers look an awful lot like the same tubers.
Hello, Lisa Nitz.
Find out, I guess.
I'm looking to see if anybody has any questions for you.
Yeah, looks.
How many fruit trees do you have, Jason? Because I know you have some.
I wrote an article on our website. I have a blog. Part of this website is an online store for permaculture plants. You can buy daylilies, you can buy other flowers, you can buy trees and stuff like that in the appropriate season. We're past the time of year that I'm shipping trees because I'm only going to ship them bare root. I'm not going to charge anybody to ship dirt. Besides which, I work too hard for the dirt that I've got, and I wash it off and keep it all myself. You can't have my dirt. But in addition to the shop, I also have a blog where occasionally I just sit down at 4 o'clock in the morning and start writing about whatever happens to be on my mind at the moment. And it winds up being interesting sometimes. It's generally going to be agriculture or forestry or somewhat related. And what were we just talking about?
Fruit trees.
Fruit trees, yes. Okay. The last one I did was how many trees are too many? And whenever I sat down, I was thinking, okay, I got to make a list of what trees we have right now. And I really was going to do this. When I sat down, and I realized that's going to be just boring. If I just write a list of all the trees that we have, it's going to be boring. So I wrote a bit more interesting article, but the end of it does include a list of all the different fruit trees. So I'll rattle them off really quickly. We've got a meteor cherry, a Stella cherry. We've got an Asian persimmon. You want just fruits, right? Not just edible trees, no nuts, no edible flower trees, just the fruit trees. Do you want berry trees too? Fruits and berries. Okay. So we've got meteor cherry, which is kind of a tart cherry. You can use it for baking pies. We've got Stella cherry, which is a sweet cherry. We've got an Asian persimmon, which is sweet whether you pick it fresh or let it get fully ripe. Either way, it's not too astringent. Kind of cool about those, and they're self-fertile. We've got one of those. We've got a Bartlett pear tree. Let's see, is that any more fruit trees up here? Oh, we've got Elaeagnus multiflora, which is a gumi, which is more of a berry, but it's a small tree, and we have that in the front yard. Now let's go to the backyard fruit trees. I've got an Ozark plum, a cocoa jujube, which is a jujube which kind of tastes a bit like coconut. It came from Crimea before all the craziness started. It came from a nursery over there. I've got a Shanxi Li jujube, which does not like to grow here. It got halfway through the summer last year before it finally broke dormancy. I don't know if it's going to do anything or not, but I've got that one. Supposedly they make the biggest jujube fruits of all. We'll see if it takes off. It's zone 7. They like to grow in zone 7. They just don't like to grow here. After that, I've got a June Gold plum, which is it's kind of like a Mirabelle. It's just a slightly more golden tone. Still, it's a sweet dessert plum, like a green gage, only extra good, yummy. But it can cross pollinate the Ozark and vice versa. That's why we have them. But it's two really, really different types of plum that will come ripe at different times. So whenever I'm done with whenever I'm done with my June Gold, and I'm about done eating all those fresh, and my dehydrator's done turning those into little golden raisin prunes, I'm now going over here to the Ozark, and I can get the fruit off of that one. Anyway, so I've got those. I've got a peach tree back over there. I've got another peach tree over there. Maybe I grew an air layer and I planted it. And if it comes out of dormancy and grows, then I've got 2 peach trees. I guess we'll find out. Stay tuned. See, any other fruit tree specifically? Am I missing one? Mary, am I missing one? Fruit. No, I think that's it for fruit right now.
Lisa asked what your favorite fruit tree was.
Oh my goodness.
Hard to, and then your wife also chimed in with any tree he can't kill.
that's probably a good answer right there. What is my favorite?
How many trees? There's that video.
Probably peaches, but unfortunately, peaches are the kind of fruit tree that, although it does grow here in this zone because we have such severe weather events so often, and peaches are fairly fragile. It's hard to get a peach tree to reach maturity and stay healthy for a long period of time. But I really love peaches. All right.
I like peaches too.
Huh. Still shows is upcoming. It's weird.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Some weird something would happen with but I mean, I look up myself and I appear to be live. So I don't know.
You seem to be here.
I seem to be here. You seem to be here. I seem to be
there.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally here. You know, I bet a bunch of people are probably going to watch it in the replay because they're going to see your channel name and they're going to go, "Oh, I wonder what Jason said." And they're probably
maybe. But I know Tim over at Ridge Life was going live at 7.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
So a lot of people that might have been here also would have gone over.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is not a normal day I go live either, so you know, it was on the fly.
And you know what Tim's lives are like.
Oh yeah, crazy. I haven't been in a long time.
It's a big party. There's a whole bunch of people.
I stopped going about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months ago.
He's getting 600-700 people in there at a time now.
Oh wow, so even bigger.
Really he's really stacking them in. Yeah,
that's good.
And Tim is doing something similar to what you're doing too. There are channels out there. I like to call them the band bomb channels. You know, the bomb channel. This is a channel that has a whole bunch of people that come in there that are community. They go, hey, and they talk amongst each other, and they may also do the same thing with other channels, but mainly people come together for community. And over there at Tim's channel, that's what he does. He builds community. That's all he does is build community, and it's worked really well for him. It's turned his channel into a really nice big channel. He gets lots of people coming into his live streams, and you got to have those channels out there for us crazy introverts that we may be personable whenever you're talking to us, but we oftentimes it didn't occur to us that we needed to go talk to you.
Yeah.
So we need somebody who has got the mom channel to go, hey, Jason, would you come over here? And oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
On my
otherwise I'm busy doing my own thing. I forget all about it.
On my review of my channel to try to improve my views and some other things about my channel, one of the things that I've been trying to do is try to remember what you used to do when you started. Okay. Because if you think about it, I used to go into lives more during the day and a little bit in the evening.
Yep.
And I stopped doing that.
Yep.
And the introvert in me, and kind of one of my friends, when I was asking him questions, I was doing a Marco Polo with one of my friends, right. And they said, "Oh, people are very cliquey." And when she said that, she was trying to be helpful, but at the same time, it made me stop and think. Okay, that means I'm not in a clique. That means I need to be joining in more.
You need to get a clique. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, where is my clique? Don't I have a clique? Don't I have a community, a group, or whatever? So it's like, maybe I pull. Well, I also lost my sister last year in October, and I kind of pulled out of some things, and trying to, and I didn't even do lives for a while. And, every time you do that, your channel kind of takes a dive. So, trying to build up the community. Like last summer, I was doing great. I did the Fall Fest giveaway, and I had like 70 channels join, huge collaboration. And then the whole year, it kept trying to compare me to that time when I was up. And I couldn't get back to that point. I was like, I can't do anything that big. You can only do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a once a year thing. So anyway.
Well, you have to find ways that you can interact with the audience somehow. And sometimes that means you go to live streams where somebody else is doing live streams, and you get in the chat room and you're like, hey, Adrian, how you doing? How's it going? Hey, Mary, how's it going? Hey, Lulu's Treasure Farm, how's it going? How have you been? What are you up to? Oh, yeah, I've been doing this. And you're, oh, did you make any videos? Yeah, I did. And the next thing you know, they're going to start watching the video that you just made. So if you don't tell people that you're out there making videos, making content, or doing anything, they're not going to go to look unless they've gone and hit that notification bell and make sure that they watch everything that you produce. And that's not everybody. There's going to be a few people that do that, but most people they're if it didn't pop up in their push notifications, they didn't see it.
Yeah.
It's not that they weren't going to be interested in watching whatever you did. It's just you didn't have enough points of contact with that particular viewer that it showed up in their push notifications.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm trying to improve the things out there, and the video I put out today had a good amount of views on it for my channel. So I was really happy about that. But I've been kind of implementing some of this stuff that this Robert Benjamin guy has been talking about. And he talks really fast. So you almost have to like take notes, and you have to wait, stop. Okay, write that down. Okay. And because he might say something again, like right after that. So you have to be ready to write it all down.
Adrian was asking if I have Nanking cherry. No, I don't. I don't have any Nanking cherry. I don't have a Nanking cherry.
I really more support smaller channels. Okay. Now there are some bigger ones, like Jason over here has got himself at what, about 11K?
Yeah, about somewhere in that vicinity. A couple more. Just a couple though. Yep, hang on. Let me go. Oh, I can't mouse over. I can't mouse over comments and click on them. I'm so used to doing that whenever I do a live. I'm gonna put that up there. Oh, I can't put it up there.
Yeah, well, you could tell. I couldn't hear you because my computer went down again. Adrian doesn't even know who Tim is, so there's that. Well, honestly, I mostly follow small channels. Now, I still follow Jason, even though he's considered a bigger channel for me, because I knew him. I met him and his wife at the meetup or whatever. He used to come up on my live like all the time. And literally hadn't talked to each other that much. But when I asked him to come on, he was like, yeah, yes, I will.
Oh, well, open panels, though. New Year's Eve, I wore a funny hat.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
I'm going to wear my funny hat. New Year's Eve. This is going to be fun. It was, too. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Words and all.
I will be doing Fall Fest 22 again. The first video talking about it will come up in August.
Mary is asking, how do you find small channels? YouTube throws stuff up at you. Hashtags usually. Easiest way to find a small channel is if the small channel is getting involved in some sort of collaboration that has a common hashtag. Like, for example, Shed Wars was a great one, right?
Yeah,
that was a whole bunch of people posting videos with that same hashtag. It keeps on popping up in people's feeds. Somebody goes, "Oh, there's a Shed Wars video. Let's go watch and see what." Oh, I've never seen this channel before. And it's a great way to get whatever it is that you're doing, if you're doing YouTube, out there in front of people.
Yeah,
find something that people are doing and do that.
Continue to do collaborations all throughout the year.
Yeah, collaborations
That's what I try to do.
Are a great way to build just contact with your potential viewers.
Yeah.
Because if they're interested in the same sort of thing that this collaboration is about already, and that's what you're doing, then yeah, they're going to be your viewers too, because you're doing the thing that they're interested in. So find out what your niche is, find out who your people are, and then go hang out in those chat rooms and chit chat with those people. That's typically what I'll do is I'll find something to watch that is live, that has chat that's related to what I'm interested in. And I'll jump in the chat and go, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah. I've been trying to go in all the lives that are about gardening, about homesteading, and about cooking. The main things that I do, or channels that do homesteading, animal stuff. I just mostly have chickens and cats, but I follow other channels that have other kinds of animals.
Also save the videos to a playlist that is not watched later. Yeah. So whenever you're making your videos, make sure you have playlists that people can click on and watch. Because if somebody finds your playlist that has all your videos on it, and they feel inclined to do so, they can go click and move that little slider to autoplay and just run through your entire list of videos and watch everything you got.
Yeah. Definitely.
And sometimes accidentally, because they fall asleep because you're just boring. But it happens.
Yeah, I'm trying
It's supposed to be a joke. Everybody's supposed to laugh.
I'm going to try to implement little bits of humor, and so I have a little small giveaway video on Friday, and I try to do a little funny clip, because it says you're supposed to catch them in the first 3 seconds of your video. So, okay. That means you're supposed to act crazy for like a few seconds. So I'm trying. So you never know. I might be singing. I might be dancing. I might be doing weird things. You'll just have to hang out and see, because we're going to try to get our views up where people are like, what is Gail going to do next? I have no idea. We'll see.
Jason's going to swap the color of hat that he's wearing or something. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I thought about doing that with a video where I take all the hats I have in my house and I make different clips in different areas, because it says you're supposed to have different backgrounds in your video. Right. Is one of the things he said. So different backgrounds. So you click. Okay, so you do. Hi, it's Gail with Gail Southern Living. I'm in Central Texas, Garden Zone 8A, and you got a hat on, and you're in one space. You go to another space, you change your hat, and you talk about something else, and you're supposed to be moving and changing and having different. So this video, this guy is always flashing, and I don't have all the editing skills. So I do what I can. But anyway, I'm trying. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, lots of different backgrounds, scenery change. So it's not the same thing over and over and over again. So right now, we've got the same background behind us. So this probably wouldn't be a high viewing sort of video otherwise, but
yes, August.
I occasionally have my own videos recommended to me.
Yeah,
that way I know I'm actually making videos for my target audience, because that's me. I'm making stuff that I would want to watch, so there we go.
Yeah, I don't know of any collaborations going on right now. I have one coming out April 1st and one coming out April 3rd. Gardening collaborations. And then Fall Fest I'll make the first video in August on that. I didn't realize I had done that in August last year, but I did. The cool thing about Fall Fest 22 giveaway that I had last year was I pulled people from homesteading, gardening, cooking, traveling, crafts, crochet, hunting, fishing, like 10 different genres. And I had 70 people join this collab giveaway.
Nice.
So, I mean, I can manage to get stuff together. The original idea started in the crochet community, but the crochet community keeps it very tight knit, because I've done couponing and crafting too. I was able to pull this over all these different genres to get all these.
Gail,
What's that?
Talking about the secrets of the crocheting community. Are you sure you're allowed to tattle about them?
And I don't even crochet, but I got into the group. And I do make stitch markers. I started making those just to give away, actually. But yeah, I managed to take their idea and expand it out over a bunch of different genres. So we're going to do that again in August sometime.
Embroidery is awesome too, if you can get into it. So some of those lost skills that people just don't do anymore.
What's that?
Things like embroidery.
Yeah.
I
tried to crochet. I actually picked up maybe more like jewelry type making.
Iron-on transferable pattern. Put it on the thing that you want to work with, and then do your stitches and just follow the pattern that you transferred to the material, and you can embroider something beautiful that way. And people look and go, "Oh wow, how in the world do you have?" It's just an iron-on transfer, and it's like paint by numbers, but with thread. You know, it's not hard. It just requires that you have some patience, patience and attention to the detail.
Yeah, I picked up on little jewelry making type stuff easier, even though I'd never really done a lot of work with tools. I got better at it, and the hardest part for me is when I'm ending the stitch marker and I have to twist the wire down over. It took some work, but I finally got that down.
Harder than you think. I don't know. I didn't have a hard time with embroidery. I picked it up when I was a kid. I thought it was a lot of fun. But I did my own sewing when I was a kid. I was an odd child.
Okay, Ariel, I'm sorry. My mind went to the bad place here. What? Look at what you wrote, okay? What, Ariel?
I have to do Uncle Roger. I don't know what that means.
Me either. I have to take a bath now. My mind went to the dirty place. It's like, what? I'm sure okay, she does a funny character that was like Fifi, and I'm guessing it has something to do with
she does name Fifi. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, something to do with the Fifi character. So
Uncle Roger. Uncle Roger. Uncle Roger. I know what you're talking about. You talk about Uncle Roger, okay. I know Uncle Roger. Yeah. Why you cook like that? Yeah. Food tastes horrible.
I just had a brilliant idea.
In your mouth. Yeah.
Here's my brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Hey, so Jason, you know the loose faucet?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, so say we have the loose faucet on panel, and we meet Fifi with the loose faucet, and I'm interviewing both of them, and they're giving just.
She's never gonna get rid of that nickname, is she?
Won't that be funny? I'm totally doing that.
Oh.
I'm gonna set it up where I can have Ariel and Simply Jan on the same live and do their characters. That's going to be hilarious. Thanks for the idea.
Okay, so Ariel, you're going to have your character Fifi pull off an Uncle Roger skit, huh? That might be worth watching. Yeah.
Uncle Roger. Okay.
Yeah.
Her character is funny. She's talking about I can't even do it. She has the accent, to go in the background of it all. And so she's talking about her husband has dingleberries and and she's talking about, oh my gosh, what is the other one she says? Oh, and her husband has a drippy spigot.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and I'm just laughing. Oh my gosh. Jason's like, what? Oh my gosh, yeah, she's funny. Like Mrs. Swan? Does that have to do with
emotional damage?
Emotional damage.
That's Uncle Roger, yeah.
Is that Uncle Roger?
That's Uncle Roger.
I don't know that one.
It's a Chinese guy. All right.
Cool.
Hide now.
Oh no. He's cloaked.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I like playing with my green screen. It's fun.
That's neat.
It's
National
a
Day.
fun toy. I can play with it whenever I want to.
Sorry, Mary. You know, sometimes things. Yeah,
Oh.
I know.
Asian parents. Oh yeah. So, yeah, a lot of the Uncle Roger skits he plays on the Asian tiger parent type stereotype, like putting him down for only having one job. Well, no, he's Asian, so he's got 3 jobs, and his parents are putting him down. You only have 3 jobs, but Timmy across the street have 5 jobs. She's 9.
She's 9. Wow.
She's 9.
I'm writing it down. I'm gonna look this guy up. I've got to see who y'all talking about.
He's funny.
I really only know like Jeff Foxworthy and what's the guy with the puppet?
Jeff Dunham.
Dunham, yeah. And then there's another one, Tim something or other. But yeah, that's it.
Tim Allen is the comedian that used to have a show called Home Improvement.
Oh yeah,
where his character was named Tim Taylor, and of course in Home Improvement the show inside of the show was called Tool Time. Now, who was saying that she didn't know Tim? Adrian. Was it Adrian doesn't know Tim?
She doesn't? Oh
she
didn't know who. She didn't know who Ridge Life was.
Tim Roberts has a channel called Ridge Life. And Tim likes to go out, and since he works at a steel mill and he makes really good money, he likes to go out and buy those expensive tools that we people that like to do gardening and homesteading and stuff like that look at and go, I would really like that, but I don't know if I want to spend the $20,000 to be able to get it, use it once, and find out if it's worth the money or not. Tim's going to go get that and then take it home and use it. And he'll let you know if it was worth the money or not. So,
wow, I
kind of like the real life. He's kind of like the real life Tim Taylor, in that respect. Just now, all he needs is a cute girl with pigtails to come out and say, "What time is it?" Whenever he gets ready to do a
full
review.
Time.
Yeah, and say if he can get a cute girl with pigtails to do that just before he does a review, I think he'd have it made.
Yeah. See, I don't know anything about what's going on with him because I haven't been over there.
Well, apparently he and Starla have split up.
I did hear that little bit.
She's got the house, and he's moved down to the less developed portion of the ridge with a trailer, and he's embarking on we are gonna really make a homestead from scratch now portion of his journey. So we'll get to see him build stuff in the future. That should be pretty cool.
Well, last time I heard she had cancer, so then when I heard they split up, I kind of did the eyebrow thing. I was like, what?
Well,
she has cancer. How did he split up with her? I mean, because that's the last thing I heard was his wife had cancer. Then the very next thing I heard after that was him and his wife split up. So I was like, what? What do you mean? I mean, I hadn't seen him in forever. So I was like, well how did that happen? The woman's sick. What? Anyway, that's my reaction because I didn't know. I had no idea.
I don't know the particulars.
Yeah.
Don't you know the particulars?
Is she better?
I think. I think her operation was successful, but as far as whether or not the cancer is completely gone, is not coming back, I don't know. I don't know. But major surgery, major life changes. That's hard on people. It's hard on relationships.
Yeah. I can imagine there's a lot of background stuff there. That's none of our business. And I shouldn't have even been talking about it. God forgive me.
That's all right.
But I mean,
it's what happens. I've been through divorce myself, and my ex-wife and I are on good terms. If I ever needed to, I can go pack up, move to Pennsylvania, and I've got a room.
Yeah.
Her and her new husband. but we're friends. We have a child together. We have a history together, and that friendship and that the family that we are, it goes beyond the fact that we aren't, together as a couple anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I'm friendly with Steven's
ever
ex.
do wind up being in a position, anybody who's like watching this, in a position where you're in a relationship and you break up, try to remember that you're both people, and if there are children involved, the children come first. Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
It hurts on both sides.
Whatever interpersonal stuff to you and whoever you're not with anymore, that's not important.
Yeah. They always think the person breaking up is not hurting, but the person breaking up is hurting too, because
everybody.
Because they gave up on the relationship, maybe warranted, maybe not. I don't know, but so it's difficult from both sides. Well, I've been there, but I've been in this relationship a long time, and I don't plan on being in another one. So
not every ex is crazy, Mary. Not every ex is crazy.
Oh yeah,
or even the ones that are not the bad kind of crazy.
Yeah, the one before this one right here was the kind that would not let me leave the house without him, would not let me wear my hair down. I was not allowed to go to the store even with his mother. I was not allowed to drive. Matter of fact, he got a standard because he knew I couldn't drive it. Oh, wow. I mean, it was crazy controlling behavior. You have no idea. I mean, and so, that was the relationship before this one. So that was bad, really bad. So I understand. But really, seriously, if I seen him in my case, I'd be going the other direction. He's a scary person. So.
Okay. Who's broke? Not every ex is crazy, just broke.
Well, we're all broken.
Yeah, I had the fan on this plant, and I think I had it on too high because it managed to get this
to burn a little bit.
The leaf is just completely dehydrated here. This leaf is just all shriveled up. Oh, you can't even see it. The leaf got all shriveled up. Can you hear it? I don't know. Where's the microphone? It kind of rustles a little bit. Crunches. It crunches. I got a crunchy leaf over here.
Crunchy leaves.
No. Crunchy leaves because the fan kept on blowing on it. It just dehydrated right there.
Oh no.
The fan was blowing. So
good.
Turn the fan on. I'll lower the speed a little bit.
Dehydrated tomato leaves are not good.
Yeah. The reason we have the fan turned on these plants is so that it'll cause them to blow back and forth like this, as if they're blowing in the breeze, so that whenever they get out into the real world, they'll be strong. Have been strengthened up by being jostled around constantly by the fan blowing them. So you blow a fan across your seedlings whenever you're starting your seedlings.
They're saying you're supposed to plant your tomatoes deep. So if you were going to put that in the ground tomorrow, you're not. But if you were going to, how much of it would you put in the ground?
Okay, so these two leaves right here are, in fact, if I hold it here, you can see these two leaves here are its first leaves, the seed leaves. It doesn't really need these. I'm going to plant it all the way up to there, the stem all the way up to there, because everywhere that little bit of fuzz here on the stem is can form new roots. So I'll just go ahead and plant it all the way up to where those first leaves are.
Okay.
Wherever I plant it out.
Yep.
And it'll just form additional roots and have a stronger root system.
Yep. I'm going to set mine out probably on my last frost date, probably.
We are, I think, 3 weeks away before I start moving these guys out. So you're what, a week? Maybe?
Mine said April 1st.
So yeah.
I have already put seeds in the ground. But mostly flowers and things I have extras of. So I'm not really worried about the gamble. If it freezes and I lose it, throw another seed. Yeah. But I every day I go out there. Oh, let me throw a couple of a couple of sunflowers, a couple of marigolds in the ground, and they'll be at different stages.
Whatever you can get in.
Yeah.
Here I've been trying to get stuff done in between the bouts of winter, which keep on trying to come back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The favorite thing about the ex is that he's my ex. Yeah. Yeah.
Best thing to say about him.
Yeah, the best thing to say about him is I don't know where he is.
They're in the room somewhere.
But that's all I know. I just stay over there. I even prayed for his new wife because I was like, dude, that poor woman. I feel so sorry for her. I'm not jealous of her at all. I'm so sorry.
You never know. Perhaps
she may like it.
At the end of everything, he goes, I realized what I did wrong. And
I told him.
And maybe he corrects that behavior with the new person. Who knows?
Because if you don't tell them what they did wrong, how are they going to improve it for next time? You say, hey, dude, you can't tell somebody they can't go to see their family. You can't not let them go to the store. You can't not let them drive. I'm an independent woman. Even after I got a job at the hospital, you had to follow me there and get a job at the hospital too. Oh, wow. Guess what? Guess what happened? No, I'm not even going to say that. Never mind. We're not even going to go there. But I'm a rebellious little person, and you can't be telling me what. I may seem meek and sweet, but boy, you start telling me what to do, you're going to see the fire.
You scratch the Texan underneath all that.
Yeah, you try to hold me down for what I want to do. Fire is going to ensue from there.
There you go.
Because I got tired of it. And my older sister, the sister that passed away, she said, man, I've never seen a man ever treat you like that. I don't even know why you're letting him treat you like that. And when I saw myself through her eyes, I was like, yeah, she's right. But I mean, I also didn't have a car. How was I going to get out of there? So finally I talked to my sister. I was like, will you please come and get me out of here? I even left some of my stuff. I was like, I just want to get out of here. Help me get out of here. And she came and got me in the middle of having an asthma attack.
Oh no.
I'm like, it's fine. I told him, he left. I'm here by myself. Just come get me. That's it. So that's my story. But I probably need to get off here because I've been on here about 2.5 hours. But when Jason and I get and talking, we always talk for forever.
I still have to go out there and make sure that the ducks are put away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fortunately, I've got a spotlight that comes on in the yard. So anything that was going to come up to them is going to have to brave the spotlight.
Yeah. I also have a couple of cats looking at me right now going, it's feeding time, Mama.
Oh, they want their evening victuals too, huh?
Yeah, they want their evening
in the morning
victuals.
And feed me at night too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we feed them. Hubby feeds them in the morning, and I feed them at night because I'm not a morning person, and he gets up early to go to work, so it works out perfectly. So yeah, when they're looking at me. But thank you for coming on, Jason, and thank all of you guys that are in the chat. I appreciate all of you. You're awesome.
Hey, thank you very much for having us on. And
thank you.
Guys, look at this. Edible flowers.
Edible flowers.
Think about it. You can have a pretty yard and have food growing at the same time.
That's awesome.
All right. I'm going to go take care of my ducks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Jason. Bye, Mary. Thank you for letting your hubby come on. Bye, everybody in the chat. Oh, he's gone. Oh. I'm going to. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate all of you.